Welcome to Recent Tartarians, everybody. Here
Hello.
we are, Tartarians Live.
Hello.
We have all of the best people in the world in one spot, and then, you know, the internet being that spot. We got Brittany and we've got Mike. How you guys doing? We got Victor. Victor, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Michael. From
Yes, I'm good.
13th Monkey, keeping things real. Lean in Taiwan.
Hi guys.
And then, of course, we've got Nathan. Nathan in Seattle, or the like.
Hello.
All right. So I thought we'd begin our 13th, episode or something like that of this beginning season thing. We've got this season 2 idea happening, and everything seems to change so much in the recent Tartarians. I would like to start by showing off what Mike's looking at. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about your map?
Olmec.
Oh.
I looked up a bunch of stuff. Are you sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. This is the old Olmec sites known. I was looking for a bunch of pyramids today on request by Victor. So I got a bunch of overlays. This is Mesoamerica, the Isapon.
Oh. Can I? It's very funny. The Meso is alluding to, I think, Mesopotamia.
Yes.
We'll get into that.
We've got Teotihuacan sites.
Yeah, and
the really big pyramids.
The Khan on the suffix is just like the Khans of Tartary, means king.
So this was the king pyramid then, right? Teotihuacan.
Yeah, I'll also get to that. So
excellent.
But I'm seeing that you started with the pyramids is because I didn't get to. I wanted to start with something else. Actually, it is. I'm gonna go back to a thing that I showed in another Hangout. It hasn't aired yet when I'm saying this right now, but probably when it's uploaded. With Paul Black Sheep Researcher.
This is actually live, Victor. So people are seeing this right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a bit slow. I'm in Spain, so the sun is getting to me, I think.
I actually agree with that logic, by the way.
So maybe you'll have to readjust it a bit when you watch back the Black Sheep Live Hangout, because I'm going to talk about the same thing, but not with as much detail as I got now. So yeah. If you could share my screen, and if you could tell me when that is on.
You can tell your hair is perfectly coiffed.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
I can't see your screen. I can see your camera. It's not that big of a
Oh,
problem.
yeah, I'm not sharing screen. I'm sorry. As I said, I'm a bit slow.
Don't you ever apologize.
Okay, I won't. And I won't even apologize for apologizing then. This is a cave in France. It's close to Nîmes, and it's called Grotto de Demoiselles. Okay, I'm not very good at French, I admit. This cave is extremely important in mudflood research, as far as I'm concerned, because this cave is basically a cathedral that has turned into a giant cave. And these explorers went into this French cave in the 1700s. There's a legend about a farmer who went in there because a sheep was screaming in there. And the legend says that he went further into the cave until he fell down 60 feet and hit his head. And upon hitting his head, he saw fairies and angels. And when he woke up, he was outside the cave with his sheep. So it has a lot of there's a lot of mysticism to this cave, but it's really an amazing cave to behold in and of itself, because this is a statue inside what looks like a completely decimated cave by, a reset. And you can even see the light peeking through the hole here, alluding to that this could be the roof. And there's light coming through here just from the outside. And this is obviously an old statue or part of the inside of a cathedral. or a church. And it is just amazing to behold that these structures are in here, these large pillars, completely uniform, and stalactites are obviously forming over a lot of these things, which I don't have the expertise to analyze, but it is very clear what is going on, because up here are small statues of figurines, and this is obviously something looking like a fountain. This is an old pillar. Here he's scaling it so you can get the scale of his size. It is crazy big, all this stuff. And it would be perhaps even larger to the St. Peter's Basilica, I would think. Very large statues and figurines. And look at these arches here. It's just crazy to just think about this. And I got my confirmation today when I went on the wiki page. This Grotte de Demoiselles, you can read, is a large cave located in Hirol Valley, southern France, near Ganges, close to Nîmes. And history, it tells of the legends. But the very, very important part is this. He heard the lamp but could not see it, so he entered deeper and deeper into the cave until he reached the chamber now known as the cathedral. How funny that they would call it that. But we have it in our head.
And think about what the word cathedral means, because I've actually been recently looking at this and seeing the word come up more and more in natural stone henges. And what you get out of it is like en deux, trois, quatre. You got a four-sided thing, right? And then you got a four-sided square, which kind of ends up meaning like a stone, durable presence. Like there's a space that's contained by four corners.
Oh, that is interesting. I hadn't made that connection before. But as you see, the cathedrals, like a lot of Freemasonry, are usually in a square architectural plan, and its opening or its gate or its entrance will be situated towards the east. And we're going to talk about the east today. And I think I'll just go into it now, which is like the main event. We're going to talk about the Moors in America. And I'm going to show you this through my Discord chat with Mike, because I didn't have too much time to prepare. So I'm going to
black and yellow.
Yeah. I posed a joking question. What is up with black and yellow? And with Khalifa, why is he singing about this? According to him, this is about his Dutch Viber or something. So we forgot that.
Yeah.
So always wondered what Wiz was on about esoterically in this song. You know what it is. Well, black and yellow. Where have you seen those colors before?
The Hivites.
The recent Tartarians.
The Tartarian flag.
The antiquated Tartarians seem to really like green, yellow, and black, and often the green and black were somehow correlated.
Yep, but the black and yellow, as Mike also pointed out, has it's the bee, and the fleur-de-lis symbol, according to Menipee Hall, is a bee, and it's a symbol of industry, and it is a great symbol in Freemasonry. You'll see in Freemason lodges, you'll see the beehive as a great symbol of theirs. And we're going to talk about Freemasonry right now, and we're going to talk about the difference between Masons and Freemasons. So who were the builders is what I'm trying to answer. And yeah, we're just getting into it right now. So what am I saying here?
Well,
we're talking about
that point, like the star, the twin star of the Sirius dog star is the B star. So there's two stars in Star Wars. They always have like the two suns. So one of the suns that's supposed to be missing is the B sun, which is what the Rosicrucians and the Hermetics they talk about, is the B sun.
Like I have never heard about that before. That's interesting.
I'll grab a link for you.
Yeah, will you? I'm gonna have to read more about that. But we're gonna talk about black and yellow. The funny thing, as I mentioned, is it is on the Tartarian flags. You remember, Andreas, you showed a snake that was also in black and yellow and was being cut up by the colonies in 13 pieces. Remember that?
Yes, yes.
The black and yellow, or no, the black and yellow
Yeah,
snake.
that was good.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the snake and the dragon and black and yellow and Tartary and the Moors. Tartary, we're going to start here because this is a great way to start. American, noun and native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races. The copper-colored races is a synonym for the Moorish races, the black people, or the Hebraic Jews, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So they changed it. They took it. They took credit. So black are the Moor, yellow, the Chinese, because we call the Chinese the yellow people. These people seem to be the most, the controlling factors of Tartary. And there are also, of course, the Slavs and the red-haired, but I'm going to focus on the black and the yellow in this one, because they seem to be the powerful civilizations that seeded the others. So, as Mike says, the black Kyrgyzians. So in Tartary, we have Russian Moors. There were black people in Russia, and they wore like the Xirtus, these bear hats in Afro stylish hair. They made their hair look like these bear hats you see the soldiers protecting the Danish queen wear in Denmark. And they were black Afro-American looking like people. And they were in Russia, and they were in Tartary and China, and also in America. So what is America named after? Is it named after Americo Vespucci? No, because
No.
you don't geographically name after the first name ever. America comes from the snake of Quetzalcoatl, Amaruca, which means land of the plumed serpent. This was one of this is like going back to my first year of, let's say, awakening. I read Manly P. Hall's book, and he talked about Quetzalcoatl and his Christ-like similarities and what America really means. And he talks of America as being called New Atlantis. This is all clues for us, guys. But black and yellow. So this normally also indicates poisonous substances, danger. So snakes are poisonous. These are all clues. I'm tying it all in. Black and yellow. Think tartaric acid. Think Tartarus. This is danger. A funny thing about the word danger is that it comes from the French, meaning the French word danger, meaning authority. So what is dangerous is authoritative. What is dangerous writes things or narratives into existence. That is very dangerous. Okay, so we're thinking now, who won the war? Obviously not the Tartarians. So there was a smear campaign. Sorry for my word. I was trying to explain this right now.
No, this is good. Continue.
Yeah. So black and yellow, danger, pay attention. So there were Moors in China, in Russia, and in America. Okay, I'm gonna make this up. Chapter 1, the status of the Negro. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers of Northern Africa. That would be Barbaria and Morocco, and those who were in Spain and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, which are the Egyptians, the Moors, which are the same, or the Negro-Asiatics. The Negro-Asiatics. This is the Egyptian Moors and Negro-Asiatics. These are the people I'm going to focus on today. These are called Moors. So let's go back here. Also some black and yellow symbology here from corporations. Not too important.
I was going to say that's actually one of the things I was holding back. Is like that's probably one of the most important things about why they use yellow and red, right? Because red is 666 nanometers, right? And so if you're looking at your par density, the size of particles actually defines what you see, which is why we're moving away from blue, because blue is really vibrant. It's like hits you in the face, hurts. So people are going towards this black and yellow, away from the bright blue and white. And you know, when you're, let's say you're driving and you're hungry and you're at your primal level, and the first thing you see is this bright yellow M. You know, like you're gonna go for that every time.
That's again such an interesting fact that I have no clue about.
Like if you look, I'll do it later, but like if you just think about like how when you look at light, like there's like a rainbow, like Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, Roy G. Biv. That's how you can remember the rainbow. There's a part of the rainbow which is within the 500 to 600 spectrum. That's where yellow fits. So it's in the part of your eye that's the least stressed, which is mean you don't have to focus your eye nearly as much to see it. So it's the easiest thing to see, really.
Wow.
That's and that's also why when they choose spatial design and color design in both marketing and in architecture and in home design, they choose specific colors to elicit specific mindsets and responses within you. So when you see yellow light on light brown and dark green, you are the calmest. And so in waiting rooms, they will use light browns with yellow lights.
Okay.
But when they want you to hunt and shop, they will put you in a blue and white space like a Walmart.
Wood has got that nice, vibrant between 5 to 660s hue often, which keeps your eyes really soft. And
yep, puts you at ease.
And wait, you just said something that was so key to that. What was it?
The different colors and the different contrast between the colors.
They do this on purpose. So gold.
Yeah, there's a science behind it.
Ancient gold was blue. They have red gold, blue gold, purple gold. Like the yellow gold you're used to is because gold's been expanded to such a size it's actually hitting the perfect spectrum to make your eyes find it palatable, which is why you find it in like iconic paintings usually. You know, otherwise they would use different minerals. But gold has a particularly soft light, you know, and it's not because of gold itself. It's because of the size of the particle of the gold. You can literally get gold nanodots, which are blue, and they sell them.
Oh, again.
Sorry for the segue. Continue, Victor. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna write this. Okay, I'm gonna remember this, and I'm gonna bring it back. Okay, I'm gonna try. But as I was on before, we're talking about Moorish people in America, and we're talking about also Tartarians in America. We have today in Mexico whole tribes with every characteristic of the Asiatic or Chinese. They are even known and spoken of by the neighboring tribes as Chinos. More especially do the Coras and the Huicholes present these striking analogies: straight black hair, obliquity of eyes, high cheekbones, the Chinese complexion, etc., identical with the tribes of Eastern Tartary. So this is Katai. And that is massively interesting. And we're going into Quetzalcoatl now. And we're talking about the Nestorians, the particularly Christian part of Tartary at one point back in antiquity, which is a very wishy-washy story. But according to this source, the Nestorians may have come to Mexico. We have today in Mexico whole tribes. Yeah, as I read. Okay, sorry. The Nestorians in 841 suffered a terrible persecution. Many left the country, seeking refuge in the islands of the Great Water and the land in the east. So that was further east from where they were back in Tartary. Perhaps some reached Mexico. Why not? And that is an interesting comment because this is why I find a marked similarity in some of the Aztec rites and those professing Nestorianism in Asia at almost the same date. So now here we're again seeing the link between Tartary and Aztec rites. So these are misnomers for Moors in America and the pyramid builders, the mound builders. We have in Mexico the tradition of Quetzalcoatl. He was a foreigner, fair, white, who came. That might not be true. Could have been a Moor as well, because we see whitewashing of Moors a lot. He was a foreigner who came from the East and who, after presiding over the Golden Age in Tartary of Saturn, left the country promising to return. Was he from China, an historian refugee? Possibly. Okay, so Chinese, right? The yellow ones. And here's more confirmation. A letter from Canton in China informs that a vessel lately sailed along the northeast coast of Tartary and in 70 degrees latitude landed several persons to make inquiry that the natives very much resembled the Americans of Hudson's Bay in their features and complexion, and that their dialect was much more like that of those of Labrador and about Quebec. Labrador is, of course, the ancient name for the northern part of Canada and northeastern part of Canada, sorry. So Amaruca is the black, China Tartary the yellow, and these are united. Makes you get the mulatto, the red-skinned Peruvian types. I think so. It may not be true. I may still not be totally into this. Right now, I'm making some justified assumptions because I don't know where these red-skinned Peruvian types people come from. So I'm guessing it's a melting pot, and there was a lot of whitewashing of the Moorish types. There's also a theory that the red-skinned people are Moors who went into the caves, got demelanated from living inside caves after the reset, and grew more. They changed skull complexion because they needed bigger eyes to adjust for living in the darkness. That is a promising theory in my humble opinion, because it incorporates the reset, and it would explain where these red people came from and what perhaps happened to a lot of the Moors. So, but keep that back in your mind. And this is a very interesting comment made by Mike. Amaranth, a shade of pink and purple. Purple is the distinct Phoenician color of royalty. And we know from one of my earlier presentations, that the first leader of the Phoenicians, Zeno, allegedly, was a Tartarian. He came from Tartary. So again, more China. And here you get it. These are the Moors after being defeated by the Europeans. We're getting into that. This is a photo of the conquered blackamoors. Notice the white Statue of Liberty with the eagle flag of Rome, aka the United States. This fake Lady of Liberty is pointing at George Washington, who overthrew the Moors by chopping down his father's cherry tree. The cherry tree we'll see later, but also keep in mind that there is a Tartarian tree, and it's called the black cherry tree. And it was in America. There's still one left today that is very old. You can find it on Wikipedia, I'm sure, if you just type in cherry tree in America or Tartarian cherry tree. Yeah, so they wore the black. You can see here the Moors wearing the purple and the pink of the amaranth, and that is again from Amaruca, or the plumed serpent. These are the feathers, and as I've been talking about, these are tobacco plant leaves also. Because tobacco was the Tartarian trade overall, and it was a spiritual thing for them. And I think that is why tobacco is demonized in that weird way we see today, where we have large lobbies of organized criminals fighting each other, and especially like the gun lobby and the alcohol lobby ganging up on this tobacco lobby. It's very nonsensical, but maybe we can perhaps interpret it in like this historic concept of Europeans wanting to drink alcohol, like from the cult of Bacchus, and the Tartars, like the dragons, smoked. Maybe this is like going back to an old mindset about how to live life again.
But they keep changing the way we use these things, right? Because at one point, I've been to Lakota like ceremonies, like they do that in a circle. Everyone shares from the same thing. It's not this little tiny singular cigarette where they make sure that everyone feels antisocial. Even then people end up starting to share the thing. They're like, oh, can I bum one or whatever? And then you've got all these people that are finding themselves getting more and more sick because of all the chemicals that are in things. I'm not sure how much healthier you are if you smoke American spirits, but I'll tell you, there are more people that are, and they don't seem to be dying all the time. And there's something weird about the whole cancer, thing, like that everyone's all of a sudden dying because of tobacco. Like, I mean, not my favorite drug, but it's still very interesting that it used to be such a social one.
Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with Tartary in general and the way they live.
What color are your
used to be
spirits? Does anyone have a pack of American spirits nearby?
It used to be unadulterated, and now it's so full of chemicals. There's no point to it. I do like the idea, to retrace your steps a bit. I do like the idea of the Chinois or the China and the Moors banding together. That makes the "Don't Tread on Me" flag so much more.
These are not mine.
I have.
Oh, nice. I need to notice that these are organic and they're bright yellow, and the dude's black. I just felt like that was really.
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty important. Yeah, and I'm going into now, guys. I'm going into this very word Indian because it's not it's kind of a misnomer, and it misdirects a lot of history. So look at this word, the Amerindians, a member of one of the indigenous peoples of the Americas. So Amerindian. In
God's people, in Dios, Dios, and to be in Dios, to be in God's way.
And look at this, Mongoloid, Oriental Amerindian race. Interesting. Mongols also Amerindian. Again, the connecting link between the Chinese, yellow, and the Black Moors. Because we will see, okay, this is a very interesting thing. I'm getting perhaps a bit ahead of myself. Okay, so when the Europeans came to the New World, so-called, which is the Old World, of the Moorish kingdoms in America, they tried to mingle with them, and they tried to make peace with them. So I want you to consider this dollar bill, which we undoubtedly have all seen and studied very carefully. Okay, so commercial law. There's one contract here, or one creed, and there are two seals. One seal for one party. So who are the two parties here? We have a party or a seal with an eagle and 13 tribes, the stars, sorry. These are the Europeans. This is the European eagle. And we have a pyramid, which we see built in Mexico, all over America as well, and in Alaska, and so on and so forth. And you have this Latin inscription. And if you make a pentagram, as we've all seen, you get the word Mason. Not Freemason, but Mason. The builders. This is a deal between, or a peace treaty perhaps, between the Moors and the Europeans, which they broke, of course. This is like their way of commemorating what actually was and also taking credit for it. But it's also giving us a huge part of the history. And we will see it further down. So I'm writing here two seals. Why are the two seals? A seal is for one party, and notice a contract. Why are the two seals and two parties? The pyramid one is about Masonic builders and antiquity. The other is about an eagle and 13. And I'm asking people to think. Sorry. Yes, but clues are two seals, two parties. Okay. This is the chopping down of the cherry tree. You see this pentagram here from Morocco. This is in 1774, way before the North African Morocco was in existence. There was a city in Barbaria called Morocco, which probably coexisted, but probably was after this Morocco in America. This was called allegedly Al Morocco, or the Empire of Al Morocco. And the Moorish kingdoms were here in America. And after their peace treaty, George Washington, as we have heard, is the 9th president of the United States. There were 8 Moorish presidents before him. The United States was between the Moors and the Europeans. They were united at one point, until George Washington chopped down the proverbial cherry tree of Tartary in 1774, the national flag of the defeated Moors. And
When I
this
saw that, oh man,
tie,
it's a good find.
thank you. This is like one of the most important clues. Also note the masons are standing before the architecture here. They are standing in front of it. Look how different colors there. This is denoting a union of Moorish kingdoms, and they're wearing the fez.
Moors, man.
Moors, yeah, they are a
How
key
can I
to it
have
all.
some more if I haven't had any?
Oh, there's so many good puns.
This is serious. This is about the point in history when you start noticing people like Marie Chauvier wearing white face makeup. And you start seeing a certain transition period where founding fathers start to pretend, because they've lost the integrity of respect from their Moorish sides, right? Like Francisco Garcia in Paraguay, he starts to act white. There's just a thing that happens where they start to kind of transmute, because they're like, well, I'm not truly black. So they say, well, I'm the new thing. I'm the new American thing. But the new American thing starts to become transmuted as they start to bring in more and more and more from the Scandinavians.
And also, the blackness of North America is also astrological. It comes again from Saturn's people, because Capricorn is angled to North America, and Capricorn's color is black. It is earth and it's feminine. It's a very good thing. Capricorn is being demonized for being the goat. But he is part in the man-goat constellation with Aquarius, which is the double house of Saturn, which is the golden age we are coming into. And people are demonizing Saturn as Satan, but in reality it's really Jupiter who is Satan. And that's another subject, but I want to focus a little bit on Saturn, because he's black, and he is god of the Moors.
So Saturn is supposed to be the mother or the father, because everyone's swallowed up inside of the father, right? Like, or swallowed up inside of the parent. Can you explain a bit about the traditional mythos of the mythology?
Yeah, Kronos was the father of the gods in the pantheon. Before him was heaven, Uranus. Kronos inhabits the middle ground, the mid-L ground between reality and non-reality, or let's say metaphysics and physics. He is the go-between between Jupiter, which is the largest body of materialism. He is expansion. And Saturn goes between him and Uranus, which is the exoplanet, meaning outside of the system, and Saturn goes between them. He is time. Uranus is heaven, Jupiter is space, or physicality. And Saturn was defeated by Jupiter in this age of Pisces, and everything became material. If you have seen the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think the third movie, Lord Cutler Beckett says to Davy Jones that the immaterial is becoming immaterial. And it's a very telling statement. He's saying that the magical world of Saturn is dying and the material world of Jupiter is taking over. And as that is happening, more of the magic is becoming imperceptible to us. And we are getting this back with Saturn in Capricorn and in Aquarius, which we are coming into. I hope this clears up a bit, because it is a huge subject. And I would urge anyone to go to the channel called Lavette, Lavette channel. She talks a lot about this, and she knows everything about alchemy, as far as I'm not everything perhaps, but more than most. So I'm going back to the Moors now. Egyptian Moors, as I mentioned, and Negro Asiatics are not slaves. I'm going back a little bit here. As I said, not slaves, because the term is only confined to the slave African of North America, the Berbers. Not the Egyptian Moors, and not the Negro Asiatics, because they were royalty. They were landowners. The word Moor legally is related to land. That's what they hate about it. That's why they needed to get rid of them, because they took the science of government and legislation from them and wrote them out, took the credit again, as we have seen over and over again. Freemasons taking credit for Masons. And you remember how the pentagram was on the Moroccan flag? And if you had the seal of the Moors, I can go up again, here. You had the seal of the Moors, and you made the pentagram here, and it says Mason. This is the Moroccan pentagram telling you who the Masons are, the builders. Because you can see here, this is the pentagram. You make it here, and it spells Mason. Okay. So, this is pretty exciting, I know. Okay, we're getting into the more specific history. All this text is from a guy who is not calling himself by his real name on Facebook. I can get you the name, but it's not really important. All I know is that this guy's a Moor himself, has studied Moorish history a lot, and I have verified everything that he has claimed that is falsifiable. I'm going through it still, but everything that was falsifiable and was linked and was cited, I have had success with so far. So it's looking pretty good.
This makes me a Rococo all of a sudden. You know, if a Rococo and like the Gothic style are actually Moroccan. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that you mentioned that, because you're so close to, and you just been to Gibraltar, and we're also talking about Spain and the Moors in Spain. And remember that painting of Denia where the shipping, I said, what are the Moriscos? But of course they are the Moors, and they were being shipped out, and they were giants. Moors.
Yeah, and there's Toledo, Spain, and there's Toledo, Ohio. I mean, we're getting right to the crux of it. So go ahead, sorry.
Dude, it's so rad. The original Arabia was right here in America, and this is why the powers that be worship you in secret and even wear your Moorish fez in secret with the tribal names on it: Al, Beit, Day, El, and Ali. The Europeans changed the set tribal names into the 5 civilized tribes because they had also reclassified the Moors as Native American Indians. They call themselves Shriners. You know these from Freemasonry. If you get to the top levels of Freemasonry, you can progress into the Shriners. They are after Freemasonry. They are post-grads. The Muslim Sons. These Shriners are the elite Masons, and they call themselves keepers of the North Gate. The North Gate is in America. It is towards Alaska. Al-Askar means the furthest most west in Arabic. Al-Askar. George Washington is documented saying, if we would agree to take the fezes and turbans off of the Moors' heads and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce it with severe punishments, and also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moorish children whom they really are or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they were truly, I'm not going to say it,
Negroes, blacks, and colored folks. Where did you get this? This is complete gold. This is so important.
I'm trying to find the
Right.
This is the thing I haven't been
This right here corroborates so strongly the idea that I've been looking into of Bible America.
If you've been told that your history didn't exist because it wasn't written down, this applies to you.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
It is. And let's see the painting here. Okay, so we're going to talk about the West and the Orient now. So this
Wait a
is the
second.
Moorish king.
Wait 1 second.
Yeah.
I have to go to work now, so I have to leave,
wait,
but I will be listening.
Nathan, is there any way that we can get you? Is there some stuff you were going to say? Are you going to be able to say it later, or are you going to be? When can we?
No, Victor and I have been on a synchronous hunt for quite some time, and this is just one more. I was going to talk about the Mandan tribe.
Yeah,
And
I heard
about
your chat this morning, Nathan.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
Mandan tribes of the Walish people are a twist or a plot twist to this.
Yes. Well, it only goes toward Andreas's ideas of confederacy.
Yeah.
However, it's just a segue that leads from the idea that all of the Bible story may have happened in America, and you happen to show a facet of that, which is why I was so eager to see what you had to share. But I will be listening on my way to work. I'll just hop on YouTube and listen as I go.
Thank you,
but
Nathan.
you and I will have to pick this up together
Yeah.
in the next day or two.
I'm really
Yeah, we
hoping
will.
to get more, Nathan, as soon as you got some stuff, because that's the more we're looking into these tribes and seeing. I've been finding out about all of the tribes that have been destroyed. They've been burning all the museums. Like, there's these crazy like events where the electrical fire or something crazy will happen, and they burn
Yep.
down an entire concrete building that has all the last written records of this one museum or another, and it's been happening over and over again. So
Well, every time. Here's a strange idea to think about. The war is over, and they already lost. It's not that they're hiding things. It is that they have already successfully hidden them.
Yeah.
Almost all of the world thinks that the promised land is being fought over right now, and it's already been taken because it's somewhere else. I mean, that is the core deception, and it's been successfully implemented. So
Yeah.
the war is over.
But what does it mean? If you look at the Native American peace treaties, right? Because we have these treaties that we're talking about. If we're really saying this, then what we're looking at is in an entire land of conquered peoples where the states are dealing with migratory peoples, which is one reason why they're allowing casinos to exist in places where casinos are illegal. Because they're saying, well, these laws aren't actually applicable to you. They're not designed for people that aren't part of that system. So in other words, aren't we already gearing up for some other group of nations, a united nations, instead of a group of international collected states? If we don't have confederacy of states, but we have united nations, are they able to defy the rules and build a complete new system inside of us and completely shatter the entire state system, taking away all the rights and giving all the privileges they need to do that?
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on right now. There's a huge story about how the American government, as it is right now, is a nesting doll of free governments. There's a territorial government, there's a municipal government, and there's an old republic being vacant right now because there are no men and women to fill in those common law offices.
Exactly.
It's a very complicated legal and lawful story. And if you want to learn more about it, I would advise checking out the Justice of Alaska called Anna von Reitzinger. Very important judge. But the Orient and the Moors, this is a king of a Moorish Oriental. And Oriental is a word that will get another meaning for you shortly.
Okay. Goodbye, guys. I'll miss you.
Thank you, Nathan. Sorry. Thank you, Nathan.
No worries.
Welcome through.
We'll catch up soon.
Yeah.
Work will set that free.
So Orient is not the Far East. Well, it is, but it's more like the West, because the Orient was really, if you took it from the old world map and you started from Europe and went to the East, the furthest most eastern land was America as well. So that is the real Orient. It was beyond Tartary to the east, which was America, and that northeastern part of Tartary was terra incognita, because they didn't want you to know that the Tartars were going over there to visit their Moorish people or trading with them or being with them, right? So they had to hide that, and it's pretty obvious because they don't want you to tie them with the Egyptians and Al-Morocco, Amaruka, and the Olmecs, Moors and Egyptians, all these Moors, all these in America. All these built mounds and pyramids. Step pyramids are said by mainstream archaeology to be more ancient than the ones you see in Giza. There are way more pyramids in the Americas than there are in North Africa. So why are we assuming that North Africa came before? When the original, or sorry, I'm begging the question here, because the contenders, right, is Africa and America right now. Who came first in terms of Egypt? Well, we know what the liars are saying. We know they're liars. So from that sole perspective, I'm happy to conclude that they're lying and it is America. But also from other perspectives, we can see that it would make sense because they are saying these pyramids are the first, and they are also bigger, like the one in Cholula in Peru, which is bigger than the one in Giza. So I'm definitely rooting for America. This is more evidence that Egypt was a global civilization because Egypt was everywhere. You even got same free pyramid structure in Bosnia, Europe. Yeah,
America! Fuck yeah!
World Empire, man. Also back in the day. But yeah, we all know this. As he said here, whether you want to call these people the Anunnaki, the Egyptians, the Hebrews, the Moors, the Olmecs, etc., blacks are the only race of people known to have ever built pyramids. And he has a point because all the pictures of pyramid builders have been Moorish, and they have tried to make them more brownish, at least according to him. And these Moors on the depictions are giants. I've shown you these before.
I know you're talking America, but do you still have that image of Genghis Khan?
Yeah, I have, and we're going to see that. But here is an interesting world map that's going to get some more evidence that the West is the true East. Isn't this ancient world map from 1581, which shows you the Orient East? Because this ancient map indicates that India is superior, which is seen on other maps as well, seen here, was in North America, or this huge bipolar. Well, this land bridge is not that big anymore. Let's just something happened.
Can you zoom in on the map?
Yeah.
You can see what's what.
Yeah.
We see. I saw this map before. You see so many names return on the current maps, which is interesting.
Yeah, it has a lot of commonalities, but also some distinct alternative things, which makes the whole world connected. Look, the Terra del Labrador is connected to Greenland here. This is Greenland, and connected to
Island is so much more important, and then that's where the Tartarus Island is too. And then you can see where Friesland would be, and everything makes sense. All of a sudden, there's a centric point to this sort of collapse of whatever we're calling volcanoes now.
Oh, yeah. If you could see Friesland as a strategic point between Europe and like the Moorish kingdoms, maybe there was a war that like took place there between those. I don't know. Speculating. It just made me think about that. You can see here. I think this is called Magna R for Rus. Maybe this R is for Rus, the Empire of Rus. Katayo R, Balo R, Tangri R. I think this is all for the Empire of Rus. And here are the Moors, and here are ancient Egypt down here. And then ancient Egypt comes from here. And I'm thinking if we could say like, if there was a migration of the Israelites, right? And it took 40 years, Mike. Let's just say they started here, went up here, went up here, went up here, went to the Caucasus Mountains.
That's quite a journey.
And came down here from the Caucasus Mountains, found a new place. Could the 40 years make more sense now?
Walking? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. 40 years in the wilderness, guys. This makes a lot of sense, at least according to me. So if this was really the first place, then they migrated, and then the ancient Berbers came down here. And there was also the white Berbers, perhaps, I don't know, there was a feud between the whites and the Moorish Berbers. It's something that is blurry for me right now, and I think Andres is going to clear up a lot of those questions by studying Spain carefully. So I'm very hopeful. Yeah. This is also very important. Oriental means Western scholar who studies Islam. It's like, what? An Orientalist is a Western scholar who studies Islam. So keep that in mind. Because Islam is the white Tartar or the white Moorish religion, so to speak, at least according to some. Additionally, the Moors and Hebrews both wear the turban, and Arabic and Hebrew are cousin languages. Before, there was a Moorish science temple of the world founded by a noble Drew Ali. Drew. Hey, Drew. There was a Moorish scientist temple in Harlem.
That's up to Drew.
Drew Jew for Black Jews. Noble Drew Ali's parents were members of Moorish Zionist temple. Jews and Moors also share a very similar diet and are brothers according to the Bible. Also, the Crusaders expelled the Jews and the Moors from Spain during the Spanish Reconquista. Therefore, Moors and Jews used to have a very strong alliance, just as the Egyptians and the Jews. There was no slavery and there was no expulsion of Jews. They were all just leaving there, migrating, the Egyptians and the Jews.
Reconquista sounds to be like reconquering.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it means. And here we're commenting on the map before. That's Mike. Now I'm going into Benjamin Banneker, probably a new guy for most of you. I don't know how common he is in American history, but he's a pretty important dude. This was his almanac, and he was a confidant to George Washington. Let's just read a bit about him. Philadelphia, Maryland. Benjamin Banneker, Benjamin Banneker, the head of the Order of the Mystics of Bisahikun. So it's another name for Washington, Washita, and later Europeanized name Washington. Washita in English is the Greenland. In ancient hieroglyphics of Kamat or Kemet, the Greenland was Washita, the original name of the Nile Delta. The ancient Moorish order of the Mound Builders, or Moorish Mystic Council, also known as the American Rosicrucian Supreme Council, which was instrumental in constructing both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Originally, the Constitution for the United States, this is not capitalized, United States of America. This is the original Republican paper that is the real land title for the real republic. There's another constitution called the Constitution of the capitalized United capitalized States of America. This is a complete, this is another constitution. There are two constitutions, and there is no real declaration of independence because King George in the peace treaty with Paris is called by his title Prince Arch-Elector of Rome and Prince of America. These are his two titles, and he's mentioned before we the people or the founding fathers. Another very important fact is that we the people only includes the founding fathers and their posterity. And you can read that in Anna von Reitzinger's legal work. This is all documented, and it's a huge story. I'm not gonna confuse you too much about this.
This is really important, though. People should understand this. Any American should know this at least. 1776 is not the year of the Constitution that you're used to. Constitution you've heard of with like amendments. They have the Bill of Rights, right? What are Bill of Rights? Well, they're amendments, which in other words means we've added to the Constitution the right of speech. In other words, you can take it away because it's an amendment. All we have to do is change it. That's not from 1776.
But that's also a constitution. A constitution means legally. Oh no, I'm not. I'm perhaps over. I'm gonna say it like pretty colloquially because I haven't looked up the definition for quite a while. But a constitution is like a debt agreement. You have a corporation that goes under, and now you have creditors who may want to strike a deal with them, and you make a constitution of how you should handle the debt of this debt corporation. So that is a
Black's
constitution.
Black's
Yeah.
Law Dictionary defines a constitution as the organic and fundamental law of an agreement, either a nation or a state, which can be written or unwritten, and it establishes the character and conception of the governing layer of principles for which the internal life is to be conformed, organizing the government and regulating, distributing, and limiting the functions of the different departments and of the people within thereof, and prescribing the extent and manner of the exercise of sovereign powers. In a more general sense, a fundamental or important law or edict. You could consider the Justinian's constitution. This is why what you're saying is super pivotal, because what it means basically is the United States was given, and this is the longest word in the English dictionary, anti-disestablishmentarianism. And that's like anybody who wants to seem cool in school, teach their kids that word, anti-disestablishmentarianism. Thomas Paine went before the Parliament in England and said, let them do it, because they're going to be more British than we'll be. If they start to say, like, no, we're going to do this right, fine. We need people that can do it right. All we have are all these nepotistic Machiavellian princes of inbred people trying to make the rules. Let's let America have some amount of sovereignty. What does sovereignty really mean? Well, let them have autonomy, you know? And that's not 1776. That's like 20 years later.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I'm gonna find I have a definition somewhere where constitution is very plain about debt agreements. But of course, there's also a more colloquial legal sense to the word now, because they have to hide what they did. And Anna One Wright's singer also explains how they came to do their definition games. But again, it is a very lengthy story, and I don't want to take away from Benjamin Banneker here. It is also reported that he invented the modern clock known as the Big Ben. I'm still trying to verify that. Benjamin Banneker also wrote the almanac I just showed you before. Was also the chief for the Philadelphia Supreme Court, and he served as secretary for the Iroquois League of Nations.
The Big Ben clock was used for torturing people for a long time. There's a museum there. If you ever go there, you can see the torture.
It's pretty crazy. It'd be funny to actually look into that story, try to debunk it if it's possible. I've always
thought not the Big Ben.
I mean, I agree that it's probably a lot older. I mean, the pretending that it was built in 1859 seems pretty crazy. And that it has 334 steps. In other words, 333 steps and a base floor.
Yeah.
I mean,
You sure that was the Big Ben, Andreas, and not the tower?
You're talking about the big. Are you? I'm sorry, I'm mixing this up. Big Ben.
Yeah, I think you may be right, Mike, about that.
The Tower of London was the
the Tower of London. Yeah,
was the prison.
No. In yes. But also, Big Ben has torture chambers in it.
Really, I didn't know that. That's why I asked.
There totally are. England has tons of places where they torture people, and in the 19th century, they actually had rooms where they would actually pull people apart. It's completely dark, And if you've seen The Great Mouse Detective, of course, there's a scene where the rat and the mouse are torturing each other and pulling each other apart, and being ground up nearly by the gears in Big Ben. I mean, it's a violent place.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know that. Victor, take it back to
This is the fez of Benjamin Banneker in On the Rock and Star, and showcased at the George Washington Masonic National Memorial. They're showcasing these guys. Very interesting. The last fez on the second row of this image, labeled Ben Bay, is Benjamin Banneker's fez. Ben Bay was a nickname of Benjamin Banneker. So, and who was this guy? Because if he really created the Big Ben Tower, that would be back in the 1700s. Benjamin Banneker, known as Chief Justice. Big Ben Bay Emmanuel. Emmanuel, also a name of Christ. Mu Ali, Mu, the land of Mu, Moors, Masons, Mauer. Also, think about what I said about them being the builders, the real Masons and not the Freemasons, because Mauer for Mauritania in German means wall. It literally means wall, if I'm not mistaken. So Mauer Moors, walls. They built walls. Who was-
Maor is indeed Maor is indeed wall.
Yeah. So it is pretty plain who the builders are, for me at least at this point. So-
Mike was just saying muro is wall in Italian, and I was just thinking about murals. Murals are the ceramic art they put on walls.
yeah, and they were probably done by the Moorish people. They were very artistic, and they also built a lot of things, at least according to the Moors themselves.
Muur is the Dutch word for wall.
Yeah, so you can see again, and the Moors. So it's pretty plain. So Benjamin Bey, who was a prince that built halls, lodges, and temples, hence the origin of the name Prince Hall. Benjamin Banneker, aka no, I think he made a mistake here. I don't think Benjamin Banneker was also known as Benjamin Franklin. I think I don't know what he did here, but I haven't this severely. I think this is a great mistake he made. He's not Benjamin Franklin. I have nothing like. It's very hard to.
Is Ben Bay?
Yeah, because Benjamin Banneker is seen together with Benjamin Franklin, and Benjamin Banneker is said to be one who initiated Benjamin Franklin into Egyptian mysteries.
Mike just said mur is also the Swedish word for walls. Apparently, every word for every culture, including Swedish, is mur. But wait, if Benjamin Franklin did that, I mean, you know how many different acronyms and pen names Ben Franklin had. He wrote under all kinds of people's names.
Yeah,
So
I know it's very mysterious, but it's funny because this author contradicts himself. He says in one of his posts that Benjamin Banneker initiated Benjamin Franklin into the mysteries, and now he's also known as Benjamin Franklin. So I think he made he mixed some things up here. But let's just keep this in mind. Benjamin Franklin is a very mysterious figure. He could have been maybe, I don't know. Let's just try and find that out. But let's move on because it's getting perhaps a bit hairy for some of us.
But the thing is, Benjamin Franklin was rumored to be Creolic. A lot of people thought he was also part black. And, this was very common in America at that time. People like in Thomas Jefferson even might have been Moorish, like some level of mulatto. A mulatto was the word they used to describe people.
King James was a Moor, and he was sold as a white. So maybe, I don't know.
Even watching Princess and the Frog with Disney, they start showing these people that are tan, they're French, they're British, but they have lots of African aspects to them. Well, start thinking about this relationship they had, and you start seeing there's an entire other demographic of people that were in very, very powerful places at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. I think they're also becoming more overt in what they're showing you. But guys, sorry, because I'm a little bit limited on the time, so I'm gonna try to see if I can round this up as quickly as I can. Not to bump someone out, but I'm a bit limited. I'm gonna read here. Benjamin Banneker was a Wichita Moorish Israelite from the tribe of Abenaki, Anunnaki, meaning the father of the serpents. They also called the serpents of wisdom because be ye wise as serpents, right? The Banneker comes from Banaki, Abenaki, which was the name of the lands of the so-called Banneker family in Delaware, Philadelphia, Maryland, and Virginia. Benjamin Banneker, the head of the Order of the Mystics of Vishakhikon, Washington, as we saw, and the later Europeanized. I've read this already. So this was just tying into Benjamin Banneker and who he was. And here we're seeing him showing the plans to George Washington of Washington City. And we know how Washington City in its plan is completely Masonic. And so we know the more for the builders. They know they initiated allegedly the Europeans into their mysteries. And they're showing the Europeans how to make these Masonic buildings. And this is a postal stamp that was made in his a postage stamp that was made in his honor. So you can see he was an important guy. Some sources say that Banneker is also the father of the modern day plumbing. Banneker and John Hanson was the first president of America. Is also on the back of the second dollar bill, or the $2 bill. Sorry. According to the book Moorish Paradigm by Hakim Bey, Benjamin Banneker initiated George Washington, and here comes the contradiction, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin into the Egyptian mysteries. Freemasonry. This is the one of the secrets they're guarding. In fact, Benjamin Banneker's fez was found in George Washington's library. Banneker's nickname is Ben Bay. We all know this. Below this is a painting of Benjamin Banneker showing the plans to George Washington, as we just saw. Yes. So the Nile Delta is there too, and I'm here recapping on Freimaurer, Freemasonry, Maurs, the builders, and here they are, and you take the Moroccan pentagram and you make the Mason come out in the coding. The pyramid seal is Moorish, hence the anagram of Mason. If you draw a what on the seal? A pentagram. Yes. So this was my conclusion. And here we're tying this into modern day. Former US Secretary and baby eater Hillary Clinton paying tribute to the Moroccan flag. Why is she doing that? And also, that's enough. We have fun in Discord. You should join us. So yeah, black and yellow.
Do join us.
Banneker.
I mean, this
Banneker.
the thing is about Benjamin Banneker. I mean, you just busted open so much stuff.
Good God.
I mean, like the fact that he was on the $2 bill, that he supposedly was one of the first signers. If you start looking into the idea of 3/5 a person being a way that it's almost a better thing because you're no longer responsible for the same obligations. When you've got a number of these different people that, I mean, hold on, keep going on this picture really quickly. But I just wanted to say, like, Benjamin Banneker has a huge history as being the surveyor of Washington D.C. in the first place.
Yeah.
So if he's trying his best to be creating a pen name, and that pen name is one of these characters, because no one's even meeting these people until they go to Europe, and then where do they like to go? They go to France, where they're treated as equals. England has got a weird thing, but in France, it's totally okay to be black.
Yeah.
So I mean,
those black people in France now. Oh, did you break up?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was realizing, like, you've got so much more to go through.
So sorry. No, I want to get your input on Banneker. But also, okay, let's just read this. This is an engraving from Pharaoh Hatshepsut's Temple of Maize, corn. And here we're going into the food. The ancient Egyptians got from Punt. Punt was in South America because maize is indigenous to the Americas. And Gunnar Thompson here argues that Punt was a Phoenician trading base near the equator on the American mainland. The New World was a major source, or the Old World was a major source of copper, which is found mainly in the Andes in Peru and the Isle Royale in Lake Superior. Paul Galaz argued that the land of Punt was the Puno region of Peru on the shores of Lake Titicaca, where there are many old gold and antimony mines. Metals that were brought back from Punt. The reed boats used on Lake Titicaca are almost identical to those used in ancient Egypt. So this is his book, Secret Voyages to the New World. This very interesting book. I'm gonna order to verify a lot of this. It's gonna be a long run, and I'm gonna, if I find some contradictions, I'm gonna bring them up because I want to verify all this. The Moors became the custodians of the Egyptian mystery when Egypt fell, according to the book Stolen Legacy by George G. James. Moor means a high priest of Anu, according to a book called The Teachings of Ptah-hotep, the oldest book in the world. This is also a book I should order. Very interesting, all of this, and ties a lot of things together. Now we're getting into the languages and how Mi'kmaq very synchronistic with Egyptian Midu Neter, as it's called, hieroglyphics. And we can see that more clearly in some of the other, also the jet pillar, electricity, high civilization coming from the Moors. This is Quetzalcoatl, which is a Christ-like figure. Here's the cross of St. Andrews, because this is really the real tribe of St. Andrews, the Moors. Just a cross that has been inverted. The X means perfection, because it means 10 in Latin. This is the binary code, 1 and 0. The X also means a Hebrew, one who has crossed over. The X also means exact center perfection. There's a lot to the X. Martin Lieke has an X code that he's coding. This could tie in with also the North Pole and the 4 rivers. There's a lot of things to it. Here's the Yank, Nikola Tesla. We all know this. Now we see a Napoleonic showcasing of ancient Egyptian, and here we get again with the France and how they went to Egypt and was very interested in what was there. And there's a huge thing about, the Freemasons stealing stuff, right, and bringing it to Africa instead of the other way around. So this is really the reverse slave trade and how they made Northern Africa into a museum rather than a real tourist attraction or a real genuine place of research. And this is Cairo on a very rare map I found on one of the backup servers to Gallica. It was pretty tough to locate, and all the other versions of it doesn't show this. It literally just whitewashed this. These are 7 or 8 story buildings. These are not a farm, lands for crops or anything, because this is this right here. This is a very, very large 2-story building. So when we think about who built New York, who built Chicago, they're telling you Moors in Cairo built perhaps something that was very similar right here. It's just to corroborate that these builders, these Moors, could have perhaps built these skyscrapers that we see in America. And there are the 10 Commandments, or the Wikipedia calls this a hoax, or throws into the question that this could be a modern hoax, but I'm not going with that. The Hopi Indians, or really a Moorish Indian tribe, the mound builders of Wichita, spoke can you pronounce this for me, Andreas?
Algonquian.
Algonquian language called Mi'kmaq, which is almost identical to the Mido-Neter. And we know Neter is the root word for nature, and it's Egyptian. And here are the commandments that was found in somewhere in America, right? I cannot remember where it was, but it can be looked up. Wikipedia has a whole section of it. This is the Baghdad Berry. Let's see. I think I'm coming to the end here. So the eagle eats snakes in nature. And here there was someone posting a meme, New World Order. Think again. Yeah, please think again. Don't hate the snake. Please don't hate the dragon. Because those people of the dragon were true honorable people of Saturn. And Saturn is an honorable planet, used to be, before he was cut down by his son Jupiter, the material Satan of the age of Pisces, which can be found on Levitt's channel, the whole explanation of that, and how the common misconception that Saturn is it's Satan. It's ridiculous, because Satan is Jupiter, the adversary in the age of Pisces. Satan is never the same. It's a role being played by a different energy in a different age. And right now it's not Saturn. And to realize this, you need to get touched up on real alchemy, not just going into Karen Last's esoteric jargon and assuming everything he says is right. You have to actually cross-reference a lot of the old alchemical texts to see this. and Lavette will guide you through that. It's a very good advice. Take it. And yeah, I think I'm coming to the ends. Just a little bonus here. This is like
I love vegetable sheep. Sorry, I keep going. I love vegetable sheep. Tartary vegetable sheep. I'm excited.
the Tartary vegetable sheep. Okay, very interesting text here. It's a bit hard to make all of it out, but this vegetable is called the Tartarian lamb. So the Tartarian lamb was a real vegetable from its resemblance in shape to that animal. It has something like 4 feet, and its body is covered with a kind of travelers report that it will suffer no vegetable to grow within a certain
down, kind of down. Down is a sort of like small feather.
Oh, okay, thank you. It was a bit hard to make out. I thought it was a U, this one. Okay. So it causes no vegetable to grow within a certain distance of it. So that's interesting, I thought. It's like perhaps a parasite vegetable that takes in like energy from its surroundings and to create this. I don't know. It seems more, it seems perhaps more stressful for nature to produce than an apple. I don't know. Sir Hans Sloane, I think that was it was one of the presidents of the Royal Society in England, read a memoir upon this plant before the Royal Society, for which transaction. Yeah, there's a bit of information about his account. I'm still looking for this account. I hope I'll find it because then we'll learn really about what the vegetable sheep is like. It's not really about this magical thing that sheep grow out of the ground. It's more like a vegetable that looks like a sheep.
Which makes all the more sense, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned right after. Isn't that this could explain a lot of the weird drawings in the Voynich manuscript?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Ooh, look at these guys.
All kinds of vegetables that just disappeared over time.
Caballeros. Looking great, guys.
Dos caballeros.
Nice.
Well, come on now.
I'm making
Some of the things shared in here is pretty funny.
I like memes. The meme section is pretty strong in the Tartarian recently. So
Yeah.
okay, so I have so many thoughts, but I just was wondering, Mike, do you want to share for a while, or Lean? Do you guys want? Which one of you guys wants to go first?
Let Lean go. If Lean wants to share something, let Lean go first because he's on the time.
You got some stuff to.
If you're still seeing this is a Kurdish tunnel, or in
wow.
Kurdistan, and it's very ancient. And there's a very rare photo of a Kurdish soldier fighter, and it's supposedly running for miles. The location is unknown as far as the researchers reported this is concerned, and it's crazy. So many discoveries still to be made, guys.
Finding so many new evidence of these tunnels. Sorry, Lean, you got some? Would you like to share anything?
Yeah, I'm stopping.
I just want to say that I shared a book before, and this book I just share a link on chat room, and you can see it has a picture similar to the
Here, put on your screen.
underground.
Right now, we're still.
I can just quickly do it, guys, because I looked it up as he just said it. Sorry to steal your thunder. I would just bring it up, and then you can talk.
Cool.
Here it is.
Yeah, this one. That's right. So this book, I got a copy, and indeed there are a few locations and showing similar underground structure, man-made structure around the world.
Wow.
So this
flood.
is one of it's one of this kind of huge structure. Still, you can clearly see the man-made or giant-made huge construction. Yeah.
This is great, Lynn. This is really great.
Yeah.
Can some of you bring it up? Because I really have to go now. I hate it because I want to stay.
Share my...
I'm gonna listen in as Nathan did. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye now, guys. Thank you for listening again to my lengthy presentations.
It's been epic. I'm gonna let
Awesome.
Talk to you soon, Victor. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for presenting, Victor.
Love you guys.
I'm gonna put Mike's screen share on then. Okay.
See you, Mike. See you, Brittany. See you, Lynn. And see you.
Cheers, Victor.
See you.
Until more recently on recent Tartary.
Yep. So I got the screen share up, Lean. You can.
Okay. So I can just do a quick review. Yeah, I hope I can bring the book next time and then showing other pictures. But this one is a very good example. Came from a book.
It mentions a mammoth cave.
Yeah, I see. It's from the Mammoth Cave. But I believe this location has been like not open to public anymore, right? So there are only small part of the cave is opening.
Mammoth Cave National Park.
It's opening today, but not include this section, this huge section. Because,
yeah, that's what you see with most of these tunnel systems all over the world, right? There's limited access to them, and then they tell you like, yeah, the rest of it is locked off, and we haven't really been there. Yeah, sure, right, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Because we always hear about there's those underground, huge underground river, or even underground sea in different locations. Like even in Egypt, we have this huge underground river and or even ancient cities.
Yeah, mentions of underground
plateaus.
Yeah, under the Sphinx, right? They mentioned that there's a whole big room.
Yeah, there's a few entrance. One of them could be under Sphinx. Or you can go to this underground city by one of the underground river. Yeah, something like that. So this book is a very great example showing we have so many unexplored tunnel system or underground system. It's waiting to be found.
Sort of rediscovered.
Yeah. We need to rediscover this cave system. But the
well, you mentioned the tunnels from Gibraltar to Africa.
We've been finding so much great examples of routes that could be tunnels. Looking at Africa and looking at how close, I was surprised how close I was to be able to see Africa. I could easily swim there. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, but then there are monkeys there, and the monkeys supposedly, according to the ancient stories, came through tunnels. So there's historical stories of tunnels from Africa to Gibraltar.
Yes, I just showing a link about the underground city or ancient site around the world, and one of them is pretty close to Gibraltar. One of them pretty close to in the Spain, but the exactly location remain undisclosure.
Yeah. Like there's mention
But,
of the British locking themselves in,
mhm.
or getting ready to lock themselves in somewhere in Gibraltar when the Second World War was going on, and they were supposed to blow the tunnels up to lock themselves in to keep sending information to the UK if Spain was conquered by the Germans. So there is actually official mention of these tunnels. It's just sort of hidden away.
Yeah, or maybe being classified, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, that's what I mean by hidden away. It's like they just don't mention it anymore. If you look hard enough, you can find so much information, but it's not like you're going to find anything in the newspapers or on your mainstream channels about this stuff, and that's fishy.
That's true, especially if you considering the most land of Egypt is controlled by military. So we don't know exactly how many this kind of underground structure or underground tunnel system is in control.
Yeah,
military.
There's no idea, right?
Yeah,
Alan
it's like
Alan asked in the chat if there's any tunnels in Madagascar. Alan, I have no clue, but Madagascar is something strange to begin with. There's no star forts on Madagascar mentioned other than a wooden one. That's something to keep in mind. There's something really strange going on with Madagascar. Same with New Zealand. It probably ties into volcanism. Apparently, we're not allowed to use that word anymore. But
I'm so sure that volcanism is the right word. That I have a whole thing on why volcanism is the right word. If you just think about the Roman use of the word God, but I can wait for a while if you want, and we can talk about volcanism in a minute.
we can do that. We can do that right after Lean's presentation, right?
As long as people know that volcanism, it's even if you think they're synthetic, there's still room for the word. So keep going.
Okay, I'm also interested in Africa. So there's a lot of this underground structure, underground tunnel system, cave system in Africa, and no one talk about them.
Yeah, there you go. Many underground tunnels in Madagascar.
Underground systems, there's so many tunnel systems around the world. I'm trying to find an example to show in similar structure like the book just showing the book. Okay.
Most interesting thing is that you see like actual construction going on in these shots. This whole pillar here is not a natural phenomena.
Yeah, definitely is not
when you
made by nature.
When you start looking in Madagascar for caverns, you start seeing crazy things. First off, Madagascar is sort of off on its own, but there's a society called the Madagascar Cave Diving Association. And what they do is they look through all the underwater caves. Madagascar has all kinds of caves, which are impossible to traverse without scuba gear. But they used to be clearly walkable. So there's a lot going on in Madagascar with caverns and tunnels and holes.
It's very interesting.
Malazamanga, I think Malazamanga is one of the craziest. Anajanamba, I think Namba means cavern or cave or flooded cave. In Madagascar, there's the park. There's the Simana Pitota Park, something like that. And Daewoo tried to purchase it before they went bankrupt. Yeah, click that. Go there. Just go there. Go to that Madagascar Mada Caves. Click on Mada Caves. That place, it'll blow your mind if you go back a page.
You mean
One
this page?
Yeah, click on that page right now. Go check out the Diving Association MCDA of Madagascar Caves. Click on that page. Look into some of the caves that they have that you can access through the nature preserve. Basically, what happened in Madagascar was there was a revolution a few years ago. The Korean government and the Korean corporations, which a lot of times have economic ties to the Japanese companies, were getting 50, 200, 100 to 200 year leases of property. And the Madagascar people freaked out. So there was a revolution. And in these caves that they were going to build, Daewoo was going to build, cattle ranching lands and soybean plantations. Well, underneath them are these crazy, crazy caverns that go hundreds of miles in every direction.
Wow.
And you can't go through them without scuba gear. So most of these caves are insane. There's nothing like them in the world. They're deep. They're long. There's life in there that's unlike anything you've ever seen. There's fossils of giant, crazy reptiles that look like dragons. They're bigger than any sort of dinosaur, and they're different than any sort of crocodile. I mean, the whole place is insane. And in terms of what stalactite and stalagmite, stalactite being what comes from above, and stalagmite from the bottom, there's no explanation. Because naturally, what happened is in a dry cave, you'd have stalactite grow from the top down. And in stalagmite, it's coming from beneath, but in a water-filled cave. And these are not one cave or another cave. These are hundreds of caves. Madagascar has more caves than have ever been discovered, let alone explored. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy amount of tunnels. And
I think you can apply that to the world or Earth.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's true.
Whichever favorable description you want to go by.
Yeah, whatever the LGBTQ is calling the flat Earth now, it's fine. The point is, Matiho or Malazamanga or whatever, these caves, they have gone in them. You can see these pictures. This is a lot more data than we had 20 years ago. This is better than your National Geographic 1996 February edition. We're able to see what was going on. I mean, there's way, way more life in these caves than you ever would have thought. There's no light. They have complete survival off of thermal radiation. I mean, this proves that there's volcanic radiation, banana radiation. What do you want me to say? They're albino. Don't make me go there because of the mermaid thing. People are gonna freak out. But there are underwater. This is a thing. The Megatron column. Look at the Megatron column.
It didn't travel there.
I don't know. There's a lot going on in that. And guess where the plague just recently resurfaced? Right above the Mikitasatonka forest. So, there's a plague that was found in rats, and they started cutting down ebony trees. And guess what they found? The plague, the bubonic plague, right above these caves.
Andreas, Alan just sent you a text about a 600-foot Peruvian tunnel in Alta. Not sure if you're reading along with the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing this. Where do I look at this? Where's the Malta cave?
Alta, or is it Malta?
I see. Yeah. Alan sent me this thing, the Peruvian tunnel in Alta. Let me look that up to make sure I don't mix it up. Right. Okay, so here's the crazy thing about the Peruvian tunnel caves. There are Swedish and Swiss colonists that got there in the 1800s. There are hot water geysers in front of snow. And in those areas, they have these, ski towns. People like to have weddings. There's these crazy Visigothic churches. And we also have, similarly, giant cavern tunnel systems with myths that say that they went down there for 100 years, and when they got out of there, they were still alive, but everyone else was dead around them, and that all the civilization had crushed. But yeah, Madagascar is a crazy place also because Babar is from Madagascar. I don't want to go too deep into that, but if you think about it, the elephant myth, there's a children's story about Babar, B-A-B-A-R. Babar is basically Tartar. And what it is it's about a guy who's raised by French colonialists. He's got an old lady that takes care of him, like a grandmother. And he ends up building this elephant civilization where the rhinos try to destroy it. And it's all built in Madagascar. I mean, maybe that's just a little too far, but I find it interesting that we're going into the Madagascar Cave Diving Association page because this is one of those weird things I've always wanted to do is go see all these caves because they're so crazy and they go on 10, 20 miles, 100 miles. And then they're like, oh, we can't go any further. I'm like, what do you mean we can't go any further? Like, well, no one's ever gone further than this. We're not allowed to go there. What does that mean? In other words, you can go further.
Yeah, but it could be dangerous.
Oh, I'm sure it is. If we were to find out what's beyond those, I'm sure.
Oh, my dear, it could be dangerous.
Caves. There are probably sphinxes or something worse. Giant octopus gods. Who knows what kind of Star Warsian thing we're gonna find in those caves?
Well, that's it, right? They probably did find it, and that's why you're not allowed to go in there.
There is a lot of evidence of that. You've heard that story that they found scuba caves by the Grand Canyon. And then they just said, oh, wow, we found evidence that there was some civilization here and it was highly advanced and it had perhaps Egyptian-esque quality to it, not unlike that in Mesoamerica. And then they said, whoops, never mind. We're going to flood this whole region so that no one can ever, ever go back here again with the most intense amounts of water that we can muster with the freaking dam. I mean, so yeah, Madagascar caves, an extinct species, crazy place.
And all of a sudden, it became quiet. Yes, LP, I am the map avatar. I don't do webcam.
It's legit.
Okay.
Is there anything? Mike, Lean, do you have more that you wanted to go, or should I go to Michael?
Yeah, let's.
You could go to me.
Yeah.
Michael, are you ready to rumble?
Am I ready to rock? Well,
Go ahead.
Not really.
All right. Well, you're at the bat. Okay, Casey Jones, let's go.
Casey Jones, what do you want to know? What do you want to see?
My God, there's so many.
That may be something for the people watching, right? Since we're live anyways, I got this whole map full of star forts. Is there any place you want to see that may be a star fort?
The Skull Earth. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, you want to see the Skull Earth, but that's something that most of the people in the chat might not really want to subscribe to, since it's just my fantasy. Yeah, lots of star forts here.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, well, all
Like
right.
I said, what do you want to see? Because I can take you pretty much all over the globe.
Life
And
is just overwhelming with star forts now. If you want to, you go to Gibraltar. You can maybe look at Sevilla. How about in somewhere where we're at? Because I got photos here.
Gibraltar's
maybe-
here. That was a big, citadel, of which you can still see. If I'm going too fast, just let me know, right?
Okay.
You can still see the bastion points here. And that went around. I can still see here. That's the star city of Gibraltar, and then there's a couple of forts.
Wow.
Cannon,
They're on-
modern, quote unquote, modern or rebuilt cannon batteries.
Anywhere in these green spots near that coast there, you can see some pretty great evidence of continued use of the same freaking fort. It's still there.
Well, yeah, it's like that. The whole of Gibraltar is probably fortified, hollowed out, whatever. Right here.
Just a giant military base, still using the star fort that was already there when they found it.
Yeah, that's it. Modern cannons on an old location. Bastion points here. What is Skull Earth Imperator Scorpion? That's a theory I made up because everybody came at me with a whole bunch of theories on what Earth is. And at that point, I really didn't care all that much, and I still don't because I'm not getting off of this place anyways. But we could be in a big skull on a circuit board, a big bio-titan, basically. The flat Earth is a circuit board, which is in the dome of the skull. Sophia, where are ya? Sivia, this is what you guys are. This is that wall you took.
That
you
wall
took pictures at.
It's star. You can see it come out to peaks. There's like a 3-point. Yeah. Mike, get over here. You gotta see this. So
that wall is crazy.
we were
In real life, it's dug out around it. This ground, the green on either side of it, concrete and green, it's about 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters up from the ground.
Mike, I sent you pictures of it from the
Yeah, excellent shots. You want me to share them?
Well,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can share those other ones
share
too.
any of that stuff I sent you.
And then your NASA is just what north of that across the river.
Well, yeah. While you're here, do you want to go to the NASA place?
Go to the NASA Jurassic Park.
Give them NASA Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. And then there's a cool video that Mike found from what it was 2011, but it was from 1994. The big exposition of NASA in Spain. It wasn't even NASA. It was like tech.
Yeah, they were trying to create a pavilion of the future, showcasing rockets and
Satellites.
satellite dishes and satellites and
Ooh, there it is. Yeah, we were there. We lived it. You should also show the.
We're basically right outside
I
this
sent them
wall
the
right now.
view dance with the,
we're actually inside the wall.
you should show the glasses images too.
Notice how big these bricks are,
Crazy. Oh.
because they talk about the Moors as being brick builders, but when you look at these giant stones, you see an older thing. It goes bigger first.
That particular kind of stone is called Tolska, which I believe is lava.
You mean banana fragment?
Yeah.
That's your moat.
Done talking about volcanoes for the rest of my life.
You can talk about volcanoes, but
No.
bananas, you're going bananas with bananas.
Every time you say it.
All right. This is the most generous picture we've seen. Look at how deep it is.
Yeah, you got to imagine all the bastions set outside of that ring.
We are here. You are here. Sweet, we should probably go more on that.
We're gonna go to that place more, and we're gonna try to follow it with a bicycle.
Yeah.
It goes around
It
like
seems it seems like it's a pretty big wall, right? If you look at it from above.
it is
It's
miles.
like outside of a city. It's not like a, I don't know. You'll see it. See,
Well, it's simple. What you this is your old
There you go.
This is your old citadel. Basically, all of this
Amen.
is your old citadel.
Oh, can you look up Heliopolis? Because right in the center of this, there's a collapsed temple. Yeah. And it has 2 pillars on front and back. So 4 pillars. They're at least 100 feet tall, probably 30 meters tall, maybe more. And there's nothing in between it.
Well, it's not in the Star Fort.
That's fine. But there you go. Here's Heliopolis. Is that right? That looks like something else. That must be another thing. Well, maybe I need to look into this too. I'm sorry. I don't know what this is. That must be like a city spot called Heliopolis. Go back to that wall again. All right. Zoom in center a bit. Is there any flat quadrant there?
Wow, there's a few of those.
Well, wait. Zoom out a bit. Okay, so that weird spirally circular thing, that's some sort of a space park. That big open area there to your north of Citadel, start like right there. That big long.
2 lines of trees.
You see that 2 lines of trees? Up there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That thing right there. Zoom in on that. Go to the front or back of it. Right there. Right there. You see the shadow? Those 2 spots right there.
I sent you a picture of those.
These guys are 100 feet tall. There's 2 on either side. They are, there you go. And they've got gods and goddesses standing on them. And this gets back into the Vulcan mythology. I can explain in a minute, but I want you to go ahead for a second because just remind me Juno and Mars because duh. Basically. Look how tall those are. I don't think you'll get how this picture is taken in a van. There's no way that you could see this that clearly. Look how small these people are and they're walking by.
Not sure
It's
what
huge.
happened here.
You just made the world flat.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Oh well, hey, I made the world flat. I did. I don't think I did that. Pretty sure I didn't do that. But hey, I
Yes.
made it flat. Look, there's. Oh, it's a flat horizon. Help me out here, Google.
So Sevilla is a very interesting place. Sevilla, like Toledo, was created by Toledo was a guy. It needed a lot of pretty important architecture in middle Spain, but Sevilla was a part of the Andalusian Caliphate. So it was Roman. It was Arabic. It was Galatian. It was Celtiberian, whatever you call it. It's along a river called the Guadalquivir. Think about that word. Guada is like aqua, but Guada is water. It's like it's an Arabic word. Alquavir, like an aquifer. This is the aquifer. So we're at a spot where you can see like basically they found the most amount of water they could. They built these systems with these giant water mills. And they could pull the water up to the top, and then they would drop them down, and the pressure would then alternate the water's flow, the current of the water. You had alternating current of water. This is the kind of thing that it sounds just like rocket science or special or science fiction, but no, water mills are real. People had water mills, and look what they were able to do with it. You got these water flows, and then like going further back, like the way they show us these pictures of like desert and they say this is Mars, They're like, well, what happened to Mars? And it's supposed to have all of these paths that have been dried out. And don't they just follow the same star fort patterns? Isn't that the kind of point? So here are areas where they've got all these parks. They have all of these, every single circle, every part of this corner, every corner that you see here, there are water mills, there are water fountains, there are water. Well, there's water fountains, and there's these like special water fountains. Like there's artistic water fountains where water.
This one is not in Spain, but this is a giant mill in Amsterdam.
These things are real.
Same idea.
Yeah, something about alternating the current of water, being able to control the current of water.
Lean, you asked about the Madagascar star fort. There's nothing to see. What was once there is gone. It was only a wooden fort on an earthen wall. But that's all the mentions of forts in Madagascar that have anything to do with star forts. So there's nothing to see. It was in near Tronavato, the capital, I think that is.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the chat who wants to see a specific city?
City. Probably take a look a port city.
In Poland?
No, a city with port. Seaport.
Oh, seaport. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, seaport.
Amsterdam is a nice example. There you go.
Oh, great.
You can see the shape, right, guys? This is the old city of Amsterdam.
So
I'm following along with my mouse, realizing now that there's a delay in the live chat. So
yeah,
give them a bit of time for that mouse to appear. And that's the old fortifications of Amsterdam, and this is the whole harbor system of Amsterdam. Which is a recurring pattern all over the world. This style of harbor building is something you see everywhere.
So do we have a similar a city with a similar port?
That's a good question, right? How does flat Earth work with Google Earth? It doesn't.
I mean,
flat Earth doesn't work with Google Earth, and Google Earth is fake to begin with. Because what you're looking at here, people, is a series of aeroplane images stitched together. What you see is a drawing. This is a drawing. You can make of this whatever you want, but it's drawing, and they overlaid that on a globe model, which you can see. Let me see where it appears, because it's a North Pole. There you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
This is.
I'm thinking about we have.
This white line you see appear right now. This is a phenomena that Google can't fix. Why not? Because this whole thing is a flat image made to fit on a globe. That's exactly how that that old map was made, which I can actually show you guys. Where is it? Ye olde Earth overlay. This takes a while to load. This takes a long while to load. Excuse me.
Okay, so is there any other cities looks like Amsterdam?
Sorry? Old cities that look like Amsterdam. Yes, I can show you in a second. This is a series of maps. All tied together to be fitted on a globe model. But it's only made to be fitted on a globe model. See, this is what happens. If you look at the South Pole on Google Earth, this is exactly what happens. Same with the North Pole.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Hey, if I flick this off, and I take it to the South Pole, what do you see when I zoom in? It's harder to see because it's all white, right? But look at this here.
Mhm.
Here you got that center point, and it does exactly the same thing. Only they did a better job of overlaying all their images on a globe.
Mm.
Like here's that circle outline that ties that whole map together, and they made.
Somebody studied the golden ratio. Pretty impressive. Give them some credit.
But there you go. So that's what Google Earth not working on flat models not working on Google Earth. That's the same reason the ley lines don't work on Google Earth. Because Earth is not this. I don't care what you believe in, but it's not this. There you go. Put that out there. All right, other cities that look like Amsterdam. We have those.
You're clearly crazy. The world is actually a giant turtle. I mean, anybody who says otherwise is just
That's
trying
okay.
to.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine by me. That's like I said. I don't really care what you believe in. It's just not this globe. It's
That's
just
all I'm
not.
trying to say. It's like, can we please? I have so many people coming on this channel and get upset at us from the terms we use, and it's like LGBTQ telling us we have to use their terms. It's like, look, okay, we get it. We tolerate. We embrace. Just can we just all celebrate together? Let's celebrate. Celebration. That's my new word. Thank you.
There you go, Lean. This is another city that.
Oh wow.
This is Copenhagen, Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
You can see where the old bastions were, and this part of Copenhagen, right here. This bastion ring is Christiania, the only place in Denmark that's sort of legal to get weed. Oh, I mentioned weed. It's funny that they do that in bastion points, old fortifications. What else do we have that looks like that? Amsterdam, Antwerp. Though Antwerp is less visible today, Antwerp has a lot of fortifications around it, as you can see. They.
If you're not a fan of the Antwerp, then who are you really, and why are you our friends?
It looks somewhat like a golden spiral, doesn't it? Starts here, works its way out.
Crazy spiral. What is going on with that? Is there a river? Does this follow a natural path, or is this just the way they built it? That's insane. Oh my God, it is. It's a. Oh wow. Look at how straight it's built. This is a fabricated. What do you call it when you fabricate channels? This is reservoirs and channels that have been fabricated into a golden ratio spiral. Whoa.
This is a channel that ties with all the outside ring forts. That red line.
It's an Ertbond. Where is this at exactly?
Antwerp.
It's in Antwerp. This is
Belgium.
I'm super impressed with this, especially considering what this really means about Brussels and the United Nations and why they're so interested in this area. Wow, look at all of these.
Wow.
And that's not the only ring city we got, because France, let me give you guys true north again. You know, France is full of these walled cities with ring fortresses around it. Paris is right here. All of these light blue stars used to be star cities, though pretty much every evidence is taken away, other than the fact that all of them have one of these nice machines for healing. Every big city in West Europe that was a star fort has either a church or one of these really big cathedrals in it, right at the center.
Mm-hmm.
So Rome is another example of one such, where they actually have two citadels, because the Vatican is a citadel, you can see. Bastion points galore.
Yeah.
Bastion points. I think we need to look into, like, another reason why banana is not the word for volcano. Bastion. Why is star bastion? What does bastion have to do? And what Sebastian?
Okay, you can name them whatever you like. I don't care.
No. I'm kind of autistic about this. I think
I'm going with Brittany here. Let's call them banana points.
Oh my god.
No, don't do that. I was thinking
they're Mario moments in our lives. But here's the thing. The Bastion forts, do you know the story of Sebastian? Sebastian was impaled at every end with different arrows. So a Bastion fort is the fortitude, protection, the durable protection against being impaled. This is the ultimate vagina. This is the safety. This is the defense. This is what keeps the egg from being penetrated. I think there's something to Bastion, and we need to look into it more. If you want to say banana, that's fine, but
I'm good with whatever, man.
Well, Star Fort's good, but I think Bastion might actually. We need to look into why Bastion's a word. Why are we throwing? Let's not throw the Bastion out with the Bastion water.
Yes, might be. Ellis Island is a star fort.
Ooh, Bucharest. Wait, whoa. You have a sphere around Bucharest. What's this Death Star around Bucharest? This is incredible.
It used to be a big citadel.
And it's
probably follow these big city ring lines here, and you get a really good indication of where the walls sat at one time. And then they never bothered naming any of these, so I just put star marks in them. But yeah, a circle. Talking about Sebastian, right? How's about Sebastopol?
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Sebastian Forts and Sebastopol. Okay.
Well, Sebastopol was a big star fort.
Yeah. There's a huge place called Sebastopol in California. And it's secretly one of the most important places, very close to Bohemia and you know what, Jarov.
I feel like I'm dressed in second grade right now.
There's so many of these. And this is not even half of what's happening in East Europe. Recently found another KMC from Russia. And that adds a bunch of forts to the list. I give it a second again to load. I'll zoom it out a bit more for the text to disappear. There you go. Now give that up. There you go. All those blue stars that are about to appear.
Wow.
Now I really have to switch my own file off, otherwise it's going to crash. Here you go. This gave me a lot of work.
I can't believe the amount of work that you're not being recognized for, let alone that you do. Jesus.
Now, this is not me. What you're looking at right now is that KMC I found from Russia. And this guy did a lot of good work, actually.
Excellent. What was his name again? Let's make sure that we're not forgetting.
I wish I had his name. I just got it from what's it? The Hidden History forums.
Okay, we're gonna put a link to it as soon as this
I
video is
have
done.
a link to the. Is this the old Russian ones, Mike? The dudes that had the. You remember that Russian file of farts?
No,
Oh.
this is a different one yet again.
Another Russian file.
Yes, I have many Russian files. Very good. Very happy with Russians.
We're doing our best to ally with people and not to stand out in a way that doesn't feel like allyable. We'd love to have anyone who's making these kinds of maps reach out. We're trying to connect with you. We'd love to support you. We'd love people to know about your work.
Yes, most certainly. What this guy did was like mark cities down and then give a link to old maps available.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And it's files in our Foundry, I assume. The subscription.
Yeah,
this map?
I'm working on making that a lot clearer.
Okay, perfect.
So soon we'll have a sort of a master file with all the maps that are good for overlays.
This isn't about our ego. This is just about making sure the information's out there. That's the thing that blows my mind. As long as you guys have access to this, then we're happy. So just let us know what you're missing, because it's a lot. It's a lot. We'll get scattered. We're trying to make sure it's clear for you guys. Mike, you're doing the best job. I'm super stoked on seeing what you're able to put together of this.
Another thing I wanted to show was the wow lines. Somebody called them. Colin Gibney actually called them that. Have you ever seen hundreds of kilometers of perfectly laid out patterns of trees? And we're talking like this is the distance from this line of trees is 70 meters. This is 70 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 70 meters. It's absolutely perfectly manicured. And it goes on for miles and miles and miles and miles. That's one. This is another one.
Mm-hmm.
One right here. This one runs on the side, both sides of the river. Goes right through an old star city. You can see here.
Oh wow.
What the freaking wait? Hold on. Sorry. What are you? Sorry. What is this?
Anyway, this is what I described, man. This is hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of perfectly manicured trees.
Oh my god, this is basically.
Whoa.
I thought we were impressed with our Sevilla wall. This is
This is
insane.
a double tree wall
Hundreds of miles of nothing but just straight lines,
of trees.
curved street.
Yep.
Look,
Look at
garden.
this.
These are trees grown.
These are. Think about the roots.
Yeah.
Think
This
about
is
the
like
root systems. underneath.
Terraforming.
Terraforming.
Terraforming trees.
Terraforming.
Gosh.
Terraforming trees. System of underground.
And these ones were known, right? I basically copied these of someone else's work and then made them look nice by filling it all in. And I went on a search and found these, which are on the other side of the border with Kazakhstan. And they look exactly the same.
Wow.
Perfectly manicured. And this one goes so far as to skip like a piece of river and then continue on the other side. La, la, la. This is almost like a gate.
Mm-hmm.
Opens up
Hmm.
to let the river
Yeah, it looks like a
through.
old river.
And the same here. I filled it in, but there's nothing going on here. Like, yeah, what is this little tiny little piece for? Why is it there? And it's filled with these anomalies. Oh, the defense line, which is mentioned in the chat. I can show you that. That's this one. It's in the Ukraine. There's one in Russia I can show after.
Oh,
You can see
yeah.
right here these bastion points. No, really, cat, you are way too warm to sit on my lap now. Away.
I don't get how you're finding, like, you're just so good at this. This is crazy. Like, I have people that I can literally say, look, you've never seen this before? Oh, well, you need to see Mike's videos, because Mike shows you in graphic detail using evidence exclusively. You've not shown anything that you can't point out. All of these things are actually star lines. There are routes, there are walkways, there are tree lines. Everything's right there. It's all there. And the main crazy thing is how funny they look on a globe. They all look bent, as if if the things were flattened out, maybe they would be symmetrical. I don't know. Interesting. Cough.
I don't really have a channel other than that. It's called Xirtus 2 at the moment, so you can subscribe to that. I don't really upload videos. Maybe that's a future thing.
I keep thinking that we need to make sure that we're focusing more on doing shorter pieces that are just on some of your examinations, because some of the stuff is just so out of control. Having said that, the less you put out, the more we're the only ones who can put it out. And I think it's nice because a lot of people don't know any of this stuff, and it's hilarious how many years you are ahead of the average in looking into this stuff. But don't worry, I don't need the pride or ego. So whatever it takes for you to be happy, you do what you got to do. Still, this is an unbelievable assessment of data. The amount of data that you've acquired, whether it be by you finding it yourself or meeting other people, or other people have been reaching out through Xirtus and through Tartary Nova and making sure that you're getting the data. The amount of data that you have assessed is just, there's no one who's a real, look at this one. Where is this? Wait. Is that
this is the one in Russia. Like that's a similar defense line.
Baseball park or something in the center of that star fort. Like these.
Yeah, well, that's just in a city, right? So they just made use of it, and this sports thing is definitely a recurring theme all over, actually. A lot of sports venues being built on or in old star forts, especially these small ones. And I say small ones because they are. Really, this is a small star.
Tartary,
but yeah, this is another one of
We're
those defense lines.
We're going to be coming very soon to Holland in order to visit star forts that you've selected as some of the most important. Or as recently as you've selected them, we'll be soon there to visit you and to visit these particular places that you found, so we can see them on the ground and prove what they are right now, because you found them all using the modern maps.
We're going to have a reunion.
Let's go to the Netherlands.
Yes.
Pick some
because
places.
Yes.
Azad in chat lives in Naarden, and he's always in the chat. So there you go. This is where Azad lives, in Naarden.
Oh wow.
Naarden.
Naarden? Naarden. No, it's Naarden.
Naarden.
You barbaries.
If you were so sure of them. So wait, who lives in Naarden again? Which one of the Tartarians?
Azad Mamedov. He's in Naarden.
Azaf Mamedov, and he's Arabic, right? He's Islamic. So I think.
Is he?
I could be mixing
I
it up.
I don't know. I just know he always
Yeah.
mentions Narden, and I wanted to.
We'll have
I
to
don't speak
ask
for him,
him before
but
we make any claims.
Yeah. However, saying that, very interested because the Arabesque patterns that we're seeing, people don't really understand the Arabic connection to Holland and to Formosa. But tulip, of course, comes from a Dutch word meaning turban. And you start looking at star forts and mosaics and the Moors and wall being a word. What was the Dutch word for wall?
Muur.
Moor. Moor.
Muur.
Right. So I'm just saying, as a Californian, I'm slightly interested, bro. Whoa. Sounds pretty cool. I want to know more.
I think this was a star. You can see those faint outlines. You mentioned something about sports field, right?
Yeah, a lot of
How's
green.
about this one? This one is right in the middle.
Oh my god.
A sports field.
In the face of a transformer.
No.
That is the Grandmaster Prime. What's his name? Optimus Prime. It's Optimus Prime baseball field right there.
Transformers, robots in disguise.
Yes.
Tartary and Star Force are more than meets the eyes.
There we go. Yeah, we'll make a song yet, right? I heard mention of the one star fort in Japan. I got some.
You got some Jap because
I got a shocker for you then, because even if you don't take all the Japanese palaces, that we got into account,
that's where I'm going. I'm going with my combo after you is to Japan. So what do you got? I want to show me what you got.
That's cool. Because this is the one that's probably mentioned in Japan.
Mario Hokodate.
Yeah.
Hokodate.
Hakodate.
Hakodate. Wow,
Mike, whatever we're paying you,
Yeah.
double.
Yeah.
Hakodate.
Alright, so
More zeros on that zero.
that's the one that everybody knows, but this one is just slightly north of it.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Where is this at? This is in where's Hakodate? Is it near
Hokkaido.
It's in Hokkaido.
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 Now I take an automatic Japanese accent. I cannot help it.
The Yakuza in Southern California from Hokkaido have the best all-you-can-eat sushi buffet.
And there's another one in Hokkaido.
Oh wow.
So that's
this is-
three in just one city, right?
This is crazy. Wait, can you?
It's
Sorry,
a lot.
I'm sorry. You're moving so fast.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Did you hear that? You're moving too fast.
You're just.
Whoa.
I just want you to stay on this so people can see it for a second. This is crazy. Okay, so can you tell me about the Hekurichi? Is there? Can you click on it and see like a walk around, or is that hard to do?
I don't think they have Street View.
Okay.
Right here. No.
You'd be
No.
crazy.
Hey, what? You know what? We may just be able to.
You'd be surprised because they put, I remember the program when they started putting backpacks with cameras on backpacks.
No, there's not really a lot to be seen. Sorry.
So you've got this
far up
goes into the snow. Wow, and it becomes snowy here. So we have a full climate season area in Japan that have forts that survive different seasons of winter, summer, fall, and spring. They survive floods. The water freezes and accumulates, and then there's too much water. So where's the water flow out from? This starts to make a lot of environmental sense. Wow, this is incredible.
But yeah, not a lot to be seen. I'm sorry, guys. So
not a lot to be seen. Just perfect star forts in the shape of Mario 64, but nothing to be seen.
No, I meant on the Street View.
Okay, yeah.
Part of that. So
yeah, we need to go in there personally.
So that's Hokkaido.
Through that volcano, though. Sorry, I'm sorry. I know you're moving so fast. There's lots of.
I'm sorry. I do it again. There you go.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. Just try to take a breath every time you click your mouse. I think that might slow it down a bit. So to the north, go north a bit from this. Zoom out just a little bit more.
Wait,
northwest, right there. Wait, down. Jeez.
I'm used to working alone, right?
Left. Go left. Out of the city. Then that white spot, north white spot. North. There you go. Tell me about this.
That's
This-
a mine.
This is a mine. So near the starport, we have a mine. We have a giant mountain, and we have a quarry. And the quarry is doing what? It's removing what? Oh, look how big this truck is. Look how big this reservoir pond is. Do you see that pond? That pond is designed to take the chemicals and to let them solidify at different heights. And then they're able to pull out the minerals. And look at the base. There's the bath, and the bath has rocks, and they're filtering out the rocks from this area. What kind of minerals do you suppose we're finding in this area? What do you think? I mean, Japan of all places, right? They could get their minerals from all over the world. They can come from Africa. What do you think they have in Japan that's so special it's worth destroying huge sums of land where there aren't that many? There's a lot of people in Japan. It's a very small place. They have to grow food.
Don't know a lot about the mineralogy of Japan. I do know stibnite is quite common there. And stibnite used to be used for cutlery and stuff until they find out it was kind of poisonous.
I mean, it's crazy when you start looking into anime. And I hate to go too deep, but you remember Samurai Champloo, and Samurai Champloo talks a lot about the connection during the Edo period to the Dutch, and the Dutch in Japan, and how the Dutch were the only ones allowed in Japan. They killed a third of Japan for being Christian. Most of Japan was Christian at one point, Catholic. A third of them died for it. They were crucified on the shores. And what do you have after that? A period of nothing but Dutch and Japanese trade called the Edo period, an isolationist period. And where are we now? We're in a place where there's nothing but star forts. It's crazy.
All right.
Okay, I'm good with this one. You can show me another. I was just really excited.
Yeah, you're happy with that? Okay.
You find a quarry near a star fort. It's starting to. I have a theory. It's not quite a hypothesis, but that these volcanoes, or thermal vents, because I know there's a guy, Mike Ferrara, and I don't want him to feel like we're not including his research, because he has put some interesting research out there. So I'm citing him right now, Mike Ferrara. He's done some really Ferrara, perhaps. He's done some interesting talks about the idea of volcanoes being synthetic. And I think it's very clear, silicon trees and, mushroom opisthoconta, there's plenty of room for thermal vents to be synthetic, or at least have mining quarries that were involved with Campi Flegrei, or with Fukushima, or with Mount Fuji, or with Krakatoa. But here's just more examples of these things that we're considering to be natural synthetic working.
You mentioned 6 things I could have zoomed in on, and nobody that was watching would have even been able to follow it. And here I am, like, patiently. No, don't zoom. Don't zoom.
No, you slow down. Okay, I'm sorry. You go. You pick a thing, and we'll go with it. Wow, Osaka.
Yeah, I'm watching along with the chat, and I'm seeing the delay in how long it takes, because now I'm actually zooming into Osaka, which doesn't really look like your average star fort. Fair enough, right? But there is at least one other 5-pointed star in Japan, and of course I haven't changed the labels in Japan, so I probably won't find it. Nah. This is another great example, though, of that. What Japanese do best: copy and improve on an existing design. But yeah, this is marking down all the castles and fortifications in Japan.
Japan's incredible.
Imperator Scorpion asked for the Schwedenschanz. And Schanz is basically scones in English, which is a markation for an actual star fort. Schwedenschanz. Gersfeld. see if I've got that marked down. Cool. Find a new one. There you go. Didn't have that yet. Thank you very much.
What does it say? Schwedenschwanz? Sweden.
Schwedenschanze,
Huh. Wonder what
which is
Sweden. What is,
Swedish. Don't
Sweden.
I translate that to direct English. Not a lot to be seen, alas.
Svea,
My eye.
they say, which is the kingdom of Svea.
yeah, but it's fair. Look that up. We need to look into the kingdom of Svea and what Sweden really is.
Freya, I think, is the wife of Odin.
See if
Freya.
there's anything visible in the old years. Schwedenschanze.
Marriage.
I'm just looking at. I'm just looking for a hexagonally shape. This is probably nice mismarking by.
Oh, guess what? Sweden gets its name from the Dutch. Who would have thought? The name of Sweden is ultimately derived from the Dutch word for the Swedes, loaned from the Dutch to the English in the 17th century, referring to Sweden as it became an emerging great power. Before Sweden's expansion, it was just called Sweden. Svorus, or the land realms of the Sweronas, the German tribes of Svir, S-V-I-A-R. The name itself is from a Proto-Norse Svionsit, presumably a self-designation, meaning one's own self.
Well, we were pretty much compatriots in the Hanseatic League, so it doesn't-
Beowulf describes the Swedes in 1000 AD, so 100. Hagen Krivskrilien, Heimskringlia is the Old Norse king's saga, which refers to them as the sons of the daughter of Freya. So they're the Rus people, the Norse people's daughters, the daughters of the Rus.
So we get Friday.
Freya, it's Friday. Happy, thank God it's Freya's day.
In Italian, Venerdì, which is the god Venus.
Wait, say it louder, Mike. What?
In Italian, Venerdì, which is the goddess Venus.
Venerdì.
Venerdì.
Venerdì. Interesting.
Giovedì, venerdì.
I mean, when you start to just see how many star forts there really are, it's just immense. It's just an immense thing.
Yeah, like I said, I got so much more work to do. Filling all that stuff in, because you can pretty much account for every old city in especially West Europe.
Right. Especially when you start thinking about it critically in terms of where you would build a city. You start seeing these snake ruins, all these ruins everywhere of snakes, and the snakes spiraling around these points. And you start thinking about the rivers and these points along the rivers. And it's like, okay, well, every major star fort I've been to so far has had crazy, Cordoba, Granada, all these major Arabic star forts, they have water mills so that they can make electricity. They have lights in the 11th century. People are talking about how they could see at night as they walk down these perfect cobblestone streets, and that the streets went along rivers, and that there was water running through the middle of town into these parks. There would be parks between private properties. There would be these apartment buildings. People living in apartment buildings in the 11th century in these star forts. Well, I mean, it's all there.
Hmm.
The municipal use of water. Where's this
and
one?
they are everywhere. Oh, that
Where's
was
it?
this is German. This is Germany.
Wow. The teeth of these things, man. 7 points. You see a lot of 7 points and snakes meeting them.
Well, you gotta take into account that most of them were just round or round-ish.
Right.
Because
bro.
well, if you follow, you can
Yeah.
you can actually still see it, right? If you zoom in, this was another old
Mhm.
banana point.
You know, if you guys were talking about Polynesian bananas and all of the great etymology of plantains, and not just these like, oh my God, Dutch bananas, right? Because that's really what you're talking about is Dutch bananas.
Dutch bananas? No, bananas don't grow in the Netherlands, man. I wish.
No, but the Netherlands, the Dutch controlled so much land that they controlled areas where, you know, bananas.
All right, okay. What? Bananas?
Yeah. And so there was a Dutch guy, and he actually picked the banana. So when you think of bananas, you're thinking about one kind of banana called the Cavendish. The Cavendish is named after Gros Michel's Cavendish, which was, you know, populated and, you know, because it didn't have very many seeds and it was very popular to trade. So all around the world, the Dole companies bringing Cavendish bananas, which is a Dutch banana. It's a banana from I think it's from Ecuador or something like that, but it was brought all around the world. I think apparently it started out in Malaysia, and it was brought by a Dutch man named Gros Michel, and it was really non-susceptible to a particular fungus called Fusarium. So that's the banana that we're used to. But there's tons of other bananas. There's bananas that are brown. There's bananas that are orange and red. They're round, and they don't taste sweet. I lived in a place where you couldn't get Cavendish bananas. You had plantains. They were very starchy. You'd fry them with, you know, alligator meat, because that's what you do in Peru, by the way. But these bananas that you're getting now, there's one kind of banana. They're all clones from it. It's all because of a Dutch traveler in the 1690s. Not that that relates to Star Force.
No, but I mentioned banana points, and we all love you for what you do.
Someone mentions bananas, I can go off on a tangent. Don't you worry.
Yes, you can. But hey, Star Force.
Beautiful.
There's a little to be seen of that one that I just showed, but you see that one point, and that's pretty much enough indication. This is a lot prettier.
Wow.
Yes, Plymouth
Oh, wow.
indeed has a star fort, Ash.
If you look at it on a globe, it looks really strangely like distorted, doesn't it? Kind of strange. Like that hexagonal star is at an angle. But if you were to look at it dead on, it wouldn't be like
I haven't found a star fort city that looks the same as another. They're all different. There's not one the same.
It's crazy. Do you want to look at anything? Well, if you've got things you want to show that's cool.
Well, Ash mentioned Plymouth in the UK, which we can go to.
I was thinking about Plymouth, and then Plymouth also Virginia. Is that right?
Is this Plymouth? Yeah, this is Plymouth.
Massachusetts afterwards. Show the two different Plymouths. Start with this one. Because notice that there's an Austin Plymouth Star Fort in Britain. All of these, you know, American sounding names. There are something about those locations that remind them of the other star forts in Europe. There's Toledo, there's Plymouth, there's Austin, there's York, there's Amsterdam. There's something that relates these places to their second colonies. Not just the fact that they went there on boats. They liked those places because they felt related.
Yes, they are indeed a bit like snowflakes. I'll look up that's Sweden's Hans Imperator. Right, you wanted to take it to Plymouth. Plymouth where?
I don't mean to distract you. I kind of now feel like I should let you gaze at Plymouth, Britain, because I just realized that there's, the things that they replace these places with. Okay, so it's not just a park now. There's nuclear power stations, right? There's volcanoes. There's all kinds of crazy things near these places. But if you want to do, like after this, I was saying go look at Plymouth, Massachusetts, because that's another star fort that's probably similar. But look at the military base. Who has a military base on an ancient military base that's being used for high tech?
Where are they?
Well, this is a camping, really. They got caravans and stuff in here right now.
Well,
So they use it for all kinds of things. The ring of forts around Amsterdam are all commercially, are almost all commercially used as something. One has a winery, one has a spa. There's an art center in another one, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I'm not sure if there is a star fort in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Andreas mentions this really nicely, but
I mean, Massachusetts is huge. Odin's son has been putting some pretty great information that proves that Massachusetts was a Slavic Tartarian base.
well, yeah, I mean, you got Boston.
Oh, more than Boston. Clinton, Massachusetts, as Odin's son's been saying, is like incredible. Or let's look really quickly here at the Star Fort. We're gonna have a whole thing for Odinson. I'm gonna do a thing with him in a minute, or probably in a little bit later, just to show some of the crazy stuff that he's been going through. Because my God, Massachusetts is a conquered land. I mean, that's what we found. But okay, so let's look here. Look at the Star Fort. You think this is one? Look at this point right here. You've got. Wow! Look at the
Well,
point.
it's a black mark, so I'm not sure if this is a star fort. I don't have any background on there being a fort here. It just really looks like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I use the different colors
Yeah,
to indicate if
marks.
something is factual or just really looks like it, or was something.
The craziest history in America comes from Massachusetts whaling for oil. Wait, I'm sorry, Starfort Warren. Whoa. Okay, this is clearly one, right? Like we're not gonna.
Yeah, this is.
Wow.
we can.
Sort of,
We can
there you
admit
go.
Massachusetts Starfort. This is insane.
Where is this?
This is in Massachusetts. This
Where
is
is it?
Warren Starfort. This is just off the coast of the bay of the Massachusetts Bay.
Use that.
And it's being used clearly as some sort of a base. I mean, like they've got they've got some sort of a dock there.
Base in Massachusetts.
Wow.
This is Boston.
Wow.
I just put up a video earlier today from Massachusetts talking about the original internet and how the internet was first disclosed to the people in the 30s, right? Because they already had computers, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology was used in order to disclose this technology. There's electronic computer systems. There was chemical computer systems. There was vacuum, photonic computer systems, and they even had different systems for cables to connect these different systems together with radio. So if we're looking at all these star forts right now in Massachusetts, wait, so this is called it. Why is it called Star Fort Independence? Is that the name of the base?
That's Independence.
I mean, this is crazy. Just looking at that, that's such a solid. How close can you get to it? Can we see some of the circles in the base? What are these circles?
Mounts for cannons.
Wow.
Like this is a car.
Yeah.
Truck. It's if I had known about this delay, I would have definitely taken more time, because only now do you people see that I'm pointing out a white truck.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
But yeah, this is the two that I'm sure of in Massachusetts. Right. There's so many out here. I actually got an old map of Rhode Island.
Star Fort George.
Yeah, you can't see it anymore. Looks like a red star means that I have a map that confirms the location of one. Old map. So this is where the two forts sat, and here you can still see remains of fortifications going on. And that's the actual bugger that's still there. Give that a few seconds. There you go. Anybody else wants to see a star fort? Because I can do this for hours and we'd all be falling asleep.
Mike?
Yes.
Do we have a star fort in Mexico?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
A second for the crowd. There you go.
Because I just checked about Mexico and I found those ancient canals. Also plenty.
What you can safely assume with this small one, sorry about zooming out and then zooming in again, is this is a city edge fort. Like, so much more of this city was probably fortified at one time. Hey, look, a sports field that could probably be built on top of one of the old forts, as they do.
Yeah.
You can follow a pattern, especially in Middle America. Like this is probably your old outlines. A fort here.
This
is a big one. Yeah, another one here. Why is everything stretched so weird? That's because nothing fits on a globe model that Google presents us. That's questions I'm answering from the chat.
I can't believe just how clear these star forts are. We need to put together a super clip so people, because so many people aren't even seeing just how many star forts there are everywhere on all different.
We can't make a super clip out of more than 4,000 star forts, man. It's just undoable.
I mean, I guess we could literally just take snapshots of every one of them in
each country.
You know, they have like the 10-hour narwhal swimming in the ocean song just with star forts. That might be the thing to do.
Star fort, swimming in the ocean.
Because they are so awesome. We're starting to definitely see a pattern.
The Lima star fort is interesting because by record, it's the only thing in Lima that survived the tsunami. A tsunami. I don't know the year in which that took place, but that's the only thing to survive, and the rest of the city got wiped.
I think I've mentioned I've been to that star fort. I've walked on the wall.
Yes, you mentioned that in a previous episode for sure.
This one's crazy. If you see there's a checkered plaza, You see that giant checkered plaza right there? Yeah.
Mhm.
This is actually like
Yep.
used for games. And the entire front of the area you can't get into. You have to go around the side. Look at the small amount of cars there. There's not that many people. It's not the most popular place to visit in Peru, but it's definitely one of the most interesting.
And as an idea of the size again, these are cars. A lot of them, actually. And that is your star fort. And this again is not a big star fort. I actually have an old map of Lima. I may be able to find that. Let me see. Mm-hmm. There you go. And this doesn't show the one that sits at the coast, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is the Lima front. So in front of the Star Fort, there was an entire other pentacle that was being used.
Oh yeah, this is probably in the same style as Paris. Like this is one of the stars that's set around that really big citadel, which, well, considering Lima is pretty big. You can safely assume it was somewhere here. This area, and then you got multiple forts like Paris surrounding it. They just took most of them away.
Yeah, I remember
Golf course.
I've been doing remote dowsing by the map, and I'm searching for undiscovered star fort, and it point to the area you just point out, like in the northeast of Lima.
Mm-hmm.
So it's around that area is showing undiscovered, maybe a star fort.
Oh, that golf course that I just showed, like here. Or do you mean that area here I pointed out?
Yes, this area. You see the mountain? You see like a small mountain? And you go in along the mountain and to the north. Yes, so this mountain could be not so old. So it may be
I know. Yeah.
Covering a part of the old city, a part of an ancient city or ancient star fort. So it's been like you mentioned about tsunami, right? So
yes,
it could be caused by tsunami or earthquake. So we have a huge landslide, like a new mountain forming a new mountain or a new
mud flow.
Yeah, mud flood. Yeah, probably mud flood. Yes. So we probably have an old part of city being covered by this mountain or mud mountain, mud flood mountain.
Lean, somebody wants to know what manga or anime your avatar is from. Jared, that is. Sorry. Seeing as we're live, it's nice to answer the questions of the audience.
Oh, you mean my
Yes, your picture. Is that
my picture? Yeah, it's from. I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but I will show you the link. I will show you. It's called.
Gotta give a bit while we're in South America, right? That was Sacsayhuaman, probably another big star complex. Bit of credit to Miguel Gonzalez here for a lot of these star forts I managed to mark down in Chile. Actually show you. There you go. Star forts all over the globe.
Dagan Ronpa. What's it called? Dagan Ronpa. Dagan Ronpa.
Yeah, Danganronpa. Yes. Okay.
It's like a game, right? I don't know.
Yeah, Star Force.
Not far be it for me to say I'm an expert on the
Jared
coolest
still
of
wants
all
to know, but
anime
Jared
games.
needs to know what the fuck is going on.
Use the proper language. So we're looking at Star Forts, but yeah, it's true. Danganronpa is a pretty cool game. I like Persona number 5 personally, but there's some pretty cool stuff in Trigger Happy Havoc. If you're gonna look into Japanese games.
Girls und Panzer.
I'm sorry, I know. I'm sorry.
Explanation?
I think, Lynn, do you have a better explanation for why we're people want to know? People
Who are you?
Who are you and why are you Danganronpa?
Who am I?
And which girl is it?
Who am I? Oh, because I have I don't know. I like this character, so I just pick her
Pretty cool.
picture.
I like it.
We like
A friend of mine used to say, you know what? I'd much rather look at a picture of a girl than I look at a picture of myself because I'm really ugly.
Neither of you are ugly.
I hope that's not the reason. I think Danganronpa is a cool. Hope's Peaks Academy is like a school where the ultimate students have a talented high school, and they have like the best are chosen by lottery, and they lose consciousness and find themselves trapped inside of a sadistic, controlled reality where the school is being controlled by this evil bear called Monokuma. And yeah, the girls and the boys have to like defeat each other in order to get away from, you know, the Monokuma. They have to like kill a bear. It's part of the class trial of the Gaiku Saiban. So if you think about Saiban, you know, which just makes Power Rangers like Super Sentai. I don't know. There's definitely, I'm pretty sure, some deep stuff to it.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. Yeah, I believe so. It's because it's talking about AI apocalypse, like a 5G zombie apocalypse.
And the
Right.
Grateful Dead bear is like the evil bear that's controlling the kids in the school. It's like pretty intense. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty intense. Yes, it's freaking me out freaking my the younger me. So,
Yeah, well, good, because me too.
yeah, and at that time I don't know about anything about 5G or like a super AI, or I don't know, because after a few years after this animate, and people start talking about AI apocalypse, AI, yeah, like a zombie AI. No, I don't. So it's a pretty deep anime. And
No, it's
yeah,
brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
it's very
I'm glad that you had shared that because I didn't know I was the only one who felt like that was kind of like, you know what I mean? I'm not alone. That was a pretty freaky game.
It makes me feel.
It made me think about Gatebox also. Mike, is there something else you want to show, or can I move on? I wanted to show a couple things.
No, not necessarily. If there's anybody else in the chat that wants to see a star fort, I'll gladly take him there. But
Anybody want to see any more star forts? Anybody? This is your
this is your chance. Otherwise, the map thing is going off, and
again.
Doubtful.
He might like give up on
We
star
could
forts.
do a star.
me giving up on star forts, right? No, I'm on.
All right, Jared Hobson, do you want to see a star fort? You deserve to more than anybody. You sent $1. I mean, come on, Jared, we're listening.
We had another super subscriber earlier, right?
Also, YouTube, please check out Mora Vagine, which is a very interesting book. That's probably better than the Ultimate Vagine. I don't think that's a real book. Well,
this is a pretty funny discovery I made. Where is it? Need to find the law.
Oh, Jared wants to see something in South Africa. Can you show something in South Africa?
South Africa. Yeah, I got one for you. I'm sorry, it's only one that I'm actually quite sure of. There's mention of this, but let's take it to the fort in Cape Town.
wow, it's
There you go. One really big fort in Cape Town.
seems it's being cut by highways.
Yeah, train.
Cut by
Probably was
train
something like this area was probably the Citadel, and this because sports area, golf course, football stadiums, and that type of stuff is usually a really good way to hide old star forts. And they've been doing that for a long, long time.
It's crazy. Cape Town, you see that you're very close to Santa Cruz Bay. There's some crazy stuff around Santa Cruz Bay. It looks like all of South Africa at one point had mechanical structures that were maybe more organic, more crystalline. I mean, it all could be buried. Who knows?
Yeah.
Odessa.
Repurposed as a football stadium in 1936. This was the old Star Fort, and that was just a 5-pointer. So you can safely assume that Odessa itself, and I haven't marked that down or anything, but you can actually clearly follow the lines. Just follow the trees. Go around the city. Somewhere this is your old fort. This area. All right. Anything else? Any star forts in Kentucky? Don't think so. Oh, there you go. a field. It's smallish. It's not very hard. It's very hard to see, but you can see the earth walls.
Mm-hmm.
And here, maybe an old image. There you go. The 1988 image.
Oh wow.
So that's Kentucky. Starfort in Portugal. I'll take you in a second. Charles Fort, Cork City. Taking us to Ireland. Yep, that's been marked down. That's a pretty one, though.
Oh wow.
Oh, Charles.
Charles Fort is pretty. Charles has a brother, James, sits on the other side of the bay. That will appear in a second for you guys. There you go. And there is a
Nice one.
lot still to be found in Ireland. And you can see we got some stuff marked down here. Anything else? Oh yes, Portugal. I still think that. Where are you? Hellas. Help! I can't find you. No. Getting late though. There you go.
Okay, like what the literal McDuck is this about? Look how huge the Elvis fort is. Elvis is a star fort. Look at this. This is crazy. It's one of the best star forts I've ever seen.
Well, this
Yeah,
one is fairly well
one of the
known.
best.
There's a really cool drone video on it on YouTube.
Give me a link to that. I'm going to steal it, or at least contact the people. We need to look at this. This is insane. It's on a mountain. Look at that. It's an elevated star fort.
Not just that, man. That's just one of the forts. Elvas itself, as you can see in a second, is this really big star fort.
Wow. It's a star city.
Yes.
And you guys get that Elvis is a Norwegian word for like being of having elves. Elven. And another weird thing is Helva, Helvetica, Elva, Kelvic, Elvic, Nelvic. So Danish have a word for Elifu that relates to Elvis. It has to do with sesame oil. Sesame oil is interesting because open sesame, which is a way that you open up these crazy forts and the 1,001 stories, you know, Alibaba, Aladdin, the genie. They say open sesame, open Elvis, open Elvin.
You got another one.
called Campo
Mejor.
Mahal.
Mejor. Now, what I found funny is if you got Alcantara leather in your car, it's named after this old Starfort city.
It's called Alcantara. Star Citadel.
You can see the old walls.
Mm-hmm. Star Citadel.
I'm sorry, I'm boring, Nicholas. And we all know the Earth is flattened, and I am forced to work off a global level.
Nicholas, I have a bunch of stuff to share. I'm thinking of I was about to debate whether I should cut the video and start a new video so that I don't interrupt this flow with the video. If everybody's willing to like go with that. What do you think of that, Mike and Link? Can we do a secondary video? What do you think about that? Go part 2.
I'm good with that. I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of
problem.
star forts in North Africa.
Let's do the North African star forts, and then someone said Portugal. When we get done with North Africa and Portugal, I think we can cut to a new thing. But I wanna at least show. The thing is, I mean, people who say this is a little boring. It's funny. Some people say that us just going off in tangents based on our hypotheses are without solvency. So I like it when we can do data, because the problem with our data is, okay, sure, we're not extrapolating very hard, but that's the only way to be very accurate. We're trying to show you evidence instead of just giving you postulation. This is all real stuff. This is stuff that we can't just tell you our opinions about. We need you to see it and make your own opinions on it. It's not my business to tell you everything, but it's important for you to know about it. And no one else seems to do this. So it seems worth it. I'm sorry, because I understand what you're saying. Like, okay, this is like school.
Yeah,
But
the funny
see it.
If I do it as fast as I could, you'd all be dizzy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So we're trying to slow it down so that everyone has access to the information. Then they can look up these words. They can look up these places. They can start to look into these regions, because you look around the star fort, you'll start finding mountain trails. You'll start finding power plants. You'll start finding mining quarries. All of that stuff is really easy to find if you know the name of the fort. If we're moving at 1,000 miles an hour, it might be pretty hard for you to see. So we're here live, hoping that you can like give us some questions or some insights. Maybe you're like seeing, this is crazy right now. Look at the Citadel.
The Citadel. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's built on crazy amounts of rock. How the heck did they do it? It's not something that they like to. I mean, these are all things they don't like to admit they have the capacity to have done at this point, let alone that they were able to communicate with the other ones on the other sides of what is essentially a non-traversable path. These waters are paths. We're not supposed to be able to cross them unless you have boats. What does that mean about our anthropological view of history? Clearly they had boats. Can we just move past it? Probably not. We have to keep showing the data. We have to keep proving there's evidence of it. La Roche.
It's like so clear.
I find it so frustrating when I'm in these places, because they've put buildings in front of all sides of these star forts. They've kept them as historical monuments, but you can't get to them because there's buildings built around them.
A little harder to spot, but.
And this is still North Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just more evidence. North Africa is one of the most civilized, most sophisticated places. It had running water, it had moving infrastructure, had roads, had walls, had cities, had citadels, had tall towers, maybe 13 stories or more. Had these walls that were in geometric patterns, which are the same patterns we're finding in Holland, and the same patterns we're finding all over the world. What does it really say about our narrative that North Africa is different than Egypt, or that Egypt and Africa and the rest of Africa are somehow separated, that Africa is uncivilized in some way, that Tartarians didn't exist, that there's just nothing there, you know? Well, what does that say when you're looking at it? This is real footage. This is actual photo. This is not some made up thing. Here's where we built over it, but it's still there. It's not that we were able to get rid of it. It's so big, so immense, so strong that it still survives all of the amount of concrete and explosions and digging out that we've tried to just get rid of it. It's still here. What does it say about that civilization? It's not unreal.
Just for shits and giggles, right? Malta. That's one star fort. And that's two.
I mean, I keep getting questions from people like, isn't it likely that someone would have made a star fort independently? Why is it that we're guaranteeing that these are all the same culture? I mean, maybe somebody else thought it was a great idea to make these weird pentagonal star fort designs. Is it plausible in any way, Mike? Can you think of any way it's plausible at all, or how can you?
Yeah, for sure that there is. I mean, we can rebuild the small ones they did in the Netherlands. It's now called the Geo Fort. And it's one of these city ring forts that they transform into some sort of geological experience. So they put up new walls and made it look like the old fort, and then they made it sort of an experience. More historically, the city of Den Helder was built by Napoleon, they say. But a lot of the information I got on that seems to be a bit conflicting. So, North African star forts.
These are better because they're not so overgrown. It's crazy how much of Africa, you just stop pouring water. I thought about this a lot in Los Angeles. You just turn the water off in Los Angeles, it's going to look like Africa in about 3 months. It's crazy how little water there really is there. And what it would be like if the water wasn't properly irrigating the entire system. You'd have a dried out, vacuumed time capsule to see what things were like back then. It's very little change for a long period of time.
So, I think that's me, unless anybody wants to see anything else.
I think we've got a huge amount here. There might be one more thing I'd like you to show. Can you go to Portugal and show just a little bit of Portugal? Is there anything in Portugal you want to show off? Is Portugal?
Oh, just did, right? Elvas is in Portugal.
Well, Elvis was in Portugal. So North Portugal is where you're seeing a lot of the star forts.
Everywhere in Portugal. If you, I just zoomed in and I'm going to zoom out. Sorry. There you go.
One of the weirdest things when you start looking into things, because this is the complication. There's a lot of racism that's kind of permeating the history search. Some people say it all had to be one or the other. It had to be blacks or Asians or whites. The more you or from someone else, the more you start looking into it, the more you see that there is a difference between us, which is all of the different races, and then the races that existed beforehand, some of these giant races. And there's Moorish occupations, there's the Galatian, Iberic Galatian occupations, and then there's a state here that continues to use this Galatian Greco-Slavic tongue, which is Portugal. And if you look at Catalan and Basque and Valencia and all these different regions of Spain, they're all different regions. They were different states. And Portugal's the state that got away. And Portugal has some of the craziest star forts in the world. What's the biggest C word going on, Kimberly Ann? I think the biggest C word going on right now is that these videos that we're making aren't getting more views. That somehow, I keep hearing people say that these things are being buried. The information that we're doing is being buried. That I keep getting letters from YouTube saying that our videos are not acceptable for viewing, or that they don't want to promote them or whatever, because we're going too deep into something that they don't think that we should be sharing, which is crazy when you think about how little we're saying. I mean, or how high up above the heads of the average, people, that who the heck is being so freaked out by the information being shared just by proving that there was a shared culture across all these places. All we're doing is showing photos. Right now, Mike's just showing photos. That this could be considered somehow caustic in any way to your world paradigm. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy that bothers people. I can't believe that this is something that actually is controversial, that we're sharing this future look at historical narrative in a different way. That's all that bothers people.
Brett asked for Alaska, and that's a bit of a problem, because if there was anything in Alaska, it's long since covered by volcanic, bananic residue.
Also, yeah, the Area 51 stuff has nothing on the FaceApp aging photo system. That's, people are getting these photos of their faces done on their phones to look like they're old people. Now, if that's not something to distract you from everything else, I don't know what is. But they own your faces, so stop using it. Well, this has been pretty incredible, Mike. I think I want to start pushing on to some of the other material. Is that something you're...
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Like I said, if anybody wants to see anything, I'll take them there. But yeah,
I'm gonna keep on this video.
That thing, and I wanted to share this regarding to that before we end it. For the Starfort sharing. Have you ever noticed that people won't take the time to look up important information, but they'll spend 15 minutes taking a quiz to find out what kind of potato they are?
That's true. And the craziest thing is what information they get out of you trying to figure that out. People won't look up anything interesting, but they've got us to start worrying about, instead of Epstein, to start worrying about Area 51. Then once they start talking about Area 51, they're like, okay, well, that's too much. We've already moved everything out of there. That's anything interesting. So let's do the FaceApp. So stop doing questionnaires. Stop using these Facebook questionnaires, and get on Minds. Use open source. Start using something other than the things the powers that be want you to use. Because clearly, even this YouTube thing, God, by now we should be talking to a lot more people. I get the feeling that we're not, and there's a reason that it's not your choice or ours, that's the way it is. Well, okay, I'm gonna pop on to some video. I had some things I wanted to share. Is it about time?
So you're doing another live then. You're sending us the links? because I got
I'm
it.
getting the links. I want to do a really quick let go of my thing so I can let people know what we're about to talk about. So I've made a list of a bunch of crazy concepts that we've been looking at. One thing is Gatebox, which is the virtual assistant girlfriend. It's the new personal assistant of Japan. She calls you and she thinks about you when humans won't. Another thing I wanted to talk about was about the Chobits program, how this is happening. And then we're going to get into some history of Spain, Apis thecanta, giant mushrooms, the regalia of Japan, actually something I've found to be important because the Japanese government has much more power than we realized and is in cahoots, let's say, with the Trilateral Commission that has anything to do with Japan's naval power. And this all gets back into what Victor was talking about, Benjamin Banneker, who was perhaps Ben Franklin, but at least a correspondent with Jefferson and with Benjamin Franklin, and was important to the creation of the American Constitution. We have so much to talk about. I want to just make sure everyone watching at least this video knows we care about you. We love that you're watching this. Keep growing with us. We have so much to say. We have so much to hear from you. Come visit TartaryNova.com, TartaryNova.com.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. Know that all the information we have, it only comes from sharing it with each other. If we didn't have Lean here from Taiwan, if we didn't have Michael from Dutch Formosa, from the Netherlands, all we'd be are just people that are putting together these weird little pieces of information. So thanks for joining us today, and I hope you join us for our next video because it's going to be crazy.
Yep,
All
I'll be
right.
with you in a couple of minutes. Just send me the link.
All right, talk to you guys in a minute.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.